And a very good afternoon to you. Welcome back to the Diradawa International Stadium. The modern transportation system that you now find on the streets of Diradawa is quite a contrast from the original cat-drawn horses drawing the carts on the streets, which was originally because of the goods that had to be ferried from the port. You know, after the train station that was bringing the goods from Djibouti into Ethiopia through Diradawa, that had to change and change very quickly. And that brought in itself another stadium as well, an international stadium. And that's where St. George is going to be playing Jima Jifar in round 19 for Jima Jifar and round 18 for the St. George club. 33 degrees Celsius is the maximum that we'll be experiencing here. Now, that's not too bad if you compare it to the other days where it was going slightly just below the 40. And a good wind speed as well. That just means that it's going to be cool as we are playing today's game. And even as the match commissioner, Abegaz Nebuluel, brings them on to the stadium, it's going to be a very big fight from Jima Jifar to try and stay in floating waters. They are second from last in the Ethiopian Premier League table standings. And from the 18 matches they have played, they've won only 2. And I can tell you, it was quite a difficult task for them and took a lot of motivation from a lot of people, including a new coach, for them to be able to register that. But they have only 8 points out of that, minus 17 goal difference. From the 5 outings they've had against each other, St. George has won 3, Jima has won 1, and they have drawn 9 times. They've scored 9 goals, and that's the higher number of goals that have been scored in this fixture. The reverse fixture ended in favor of St. George, 3 goals to 2. It just tells you that Jima as well was out to score goals at that time. So we saw a 5-goal thriller in that match. Wondering whether it's going to be the same in today's match. They've got Eno Kadunya back in that first 11 and on that side as well after he had been facing a little bit of a sideline. It's going to be helped by Ashley Otamene and Frimpong Mensu and Abdul Karim Mohamed. Mulol and Tesfen, Haida Sharefa, Kenyan Makre are in the midfield. Gadisa Mebrate has got to produce a good performance today to couple what Getane Kebede can do and Emmanuel Gabriel Mikael. Gabriel Mikael himself, you know, was substituted when he played in the derby in the 74th minute after a couple of misses, but hoping that today is going to be able to give his 100% contribution in today's game. Ashabir Boka is the center referee. Ashele Warku and Siraj Nurbegen will help him as the first and the second assistant. Manue Waldesadik is the fourth official in this one. That is just about to unfold here at the Bahar Dar, at the Diradawa International Stadium. Now for Jima Jifar, I'll tell you one thing, you will never write them out. They've got Temesgen Derese, who's finding his scoring touch. He's already scored 5 and he scored for Jima in the 1-1 draw with Awasor as well. And he's got the runs as well. They have a new inclusion in Prince Wango and Rahim Osumanu. Now that is a dangerous combination of 2 Ghanaians up there who are trying to get the goals for them. Abtamu Nigusi, Nigatu Gabriel Selassie and Wale Lin are in the midfield as is Tiom Tesfaye, Elias Ataro, Melakwolde and Alex Amuzu are in the defense. They made a very good signings, but Jacob Penze is on the bench, the Congolese goalkeeper. They got Idalamin Nasser, the other man who will never leave our hearts because of what he did. Just the courage to be able to be a goalkeeper. But if they were to make a substitution, most probably it will be Samson Kolicha and Sadiq Seicho on that side. For Frank Natal, the Scotsman, he's got a large bench to also be able to take from. That includes the youngster Manuel Terfu. And of course, there's Yasbira Tesfaye, there's Abraham Getachew, Rabo Ndale, and Salahidin Said, all whom can be used in any of the matches that they will be preferring to play. Segai Kidane Mariam, to me, a little bit of an unfortunate coach on the Jima Jifar side, took the ship when it was sinking, has managed to repair it very nicely, has just made it float, but he can't make it move yet. So it's not going anywhere at the moment. It's rooted at the bottom in the 12th position of the Ethiopian Premier League. St. George have a realistic chance of going to the 3rd position today because all they need is a point or 2 from that. But they have a Herculean task to go to the 2nd position. They would need to score about 5 goals to be able to do that and to be able to get there on a goal difference. And that will be the big task that they have to take on in today's game. They're playing from left to right on your screens. They're fresh from coming from the derby, having won it against Ethiopia Buna. They obviously have their tails up, but I tell you it again, and I will repeat, you will not write off the Jima Jifar side, especially that man on the ball at the moment. Raheem Subanu up at the front for the side. is already making a lot of impact for the Jima Jifar side. Well, that's the story as it is, but we'll also look at the formations to be able to tell you what they are lining up like. And I will be in the commentary booth with Gilbert Salebo to take you through that. I am Bernardo Tieno. In the Amari commentary, we've got Marcos Elias and Jonas Azeze to take you through that one as well. Formations sometimes are messed up by teams that like to play as spoilers, and not deliberately. The Jima side, Gilbert, would look to me like a team that can very easily spoil the St. George game.
Absolutely, Bernard. As you have rightfully said, they're staying afloat in this particular league, of course, wanting to give everything in this game to try and remain in the most important league in the Ethiopian calendar. They will also come across a team that is trying to fight for honors just to finish in top position, probably in second position, St. George. So both sides of the divide, both teams have something to fight for in this particular game.
Good one on to the left, and it's Temesgen Terese. We'll get onto it first. You've got to worry about that. He looks the other direction. He's trying to get the ball out. Now, go for the possession. Other than go for the easier route of trying to get a penalty, just go for the possession in there. You could just get it out of the hard work of trying to get possession. I think that will be a lesson that will be learned the hard way from the Jima Jifar side as they lose the possession. Eno Kadunya has found a first-team start again with the new coach, Frank Natal. He had already been relegated to the bench when he had the other coach, Maher Davids, in that side. It's a big one that will go off the field of play. This is going to be a goal kick. It's going to be for the Jima Jifar side. So, again, Gilbert, I will ask you, and hoping that you're going to give me a straight answer now, because you didn't. You just went round and round and round. This is not a foul at all. I mean, this is a normal contact kind of game. And for Walalin Gebre, he just loses a chance there. Question is, Gilbert, and please just be straight here. What's the formations that these two teams are using?
Well, St. George have retained the same lineup from number 1 to number 11. They've retained the same lineup with the same formation, 4-3-3. Frimpong Mensah holding on the back four, Haida Sherefa in the three-man midfield, and Ketane Kebede as the lead striker, supported by Emmanuel Gembry-Michael and Gadisa Mebratu. For Jima Jifar side, they have Melaku Wolde coming back into this game to hold the back four, Nigatu to hold the midfield three, and then Rahim Osumanu will be the front striker, supported by Waongo and Temesgen Terese.
Well, Alex Amuzu going just too hard here on Getani Kebede, and I worry about Alex Amuzu. And I said this before, and I hope it's not gonna backfire at some point. But he goes in just a little bit too hard. The coach Kidane Mariam knows that he needs the points out of this match, but he also needs his men. And one of his key men now is Alex Amuzu. So Alex has got to watch out how he's approaching the tackles that he's going into for his own safety. So it's back into the possession of the Jima Jifar side. Frimpong Mensah, one of the fleet-footed defenders, and today he's got a difficult task of marking Rahim Osumanu, but he's going to have to do it come what may. This is a big man who's got big ambitions and has been hired to come and help move the ship forward on the Jima side. To be honest, Gilbert, I feel like Jima hired mercenaries to come and win the war for them.
Absolutely, absolutely, especially bringing in Rahim Osumanu and Prince Waongo in the striking force.
And Alex Amuzu.
And Alex Amuzu at the back. The problem is that Alex Amuzu is he's not calm. You know, he always like making a silly mistake that would definitely put them in a precarious position.
Well, this was going to be a cross that would come off the left side. I think we are hoping that Alex Amuzu doesn't make the mistakes, but that's what you wanted to see.
Yes,
yeah,
he must keep his temperament.
We pray that he's going to be, well, we hope that he's going to be calm enough to be able to just play his game and show what he's got as a good defender. For St. George, there'll be the big question of whether to go technical or go physical on this team that is highly physical and has got some technical players as well on the side. That's one of them who's just deliver the ball onto the right side, Rahim Osumanu. And looking for a chance to try and move through on the right side. They bring it back to Nigatu Gebrselassie in the midfield. Oh, Nigatu was listed as a scorer for in the game against Adama. And will be one thing that will be looking out to see whether he can replicate that kind of performance. Elizataro is the last man, or rather the captain on the Jima Jifar side. For Temesgen, it's all business as usual up at the front. He's waiting for the feed to come to him. He can be able to run and can be able to power his way as well. That's how he scored the 5 goals. That's him on the ball at the moment. Quick delivery onto the right side that he was looking at, and try to play it with the other new man, Prince Waungo. Long ball down on the left to Kenean Markne. Another man who's made it to the first 11. And now he's a consistent first 11er on the St. George side and needs to stay there. That means you give a stellar performance, don't you?
He needs to. He's about 6'2", very strong, very good technically, wins the ball in prime positions, and a very, very good passer of the ball.
Getane Kebede. Lovely delivery on the right side to Gadisa Mebrate. Gave a little bit of a meek performance in the derby that was played as the last match they played before coming to this one. Needs to redeem himself on that. He played only 74 minutes that time. This is going to be Walalin Gebre. And then the Jima side are trying to come out as well. Yeah, I know you're feeling it as well. Jima is playing like a big team, Gilbert, isn't it?
They're motivated.
You're not noticing that they are the team that is second from bottom, are you?
They are noticing. I mean, so of course I do notice. They are playing like a team that is really well oiled. They're not in a hurry. They're building, and especially when they get to St. George half, you can see the speed at which they're moving the ball.
It's a big one down on the right side. Still looking to get it onto Gadisa Mebrate. But a good interception by Elizataro. 18 titles the St. George side has won, with 16 Super Cup appearances and wins as well. And being the oldest club, of course, the most successful, you'd expect them to have performance that mirrors exactly those records. But I tell you, Jima, with the one time that they have won the league, are equally a tough side and will be a tough nut to crack in today's game. They need the points. They want to get off the relegation zone, so they will need the points, and they want to bring them as quickly as they can. Just in case you haven't heard it, then 2 clubs have already been promoted onto the Premier League at the moment, and one of them is Addis Ababa City, and the other one is the Defense Forces team Mekelakeya. That just means the Defense Force Mekelakeya. It's still again one of the oldest clubs in the country, and also that has got resources enough to be able to get back into the top flight soccer as well. And waiting for just one more that needs a point to be able to get back to the league, and that will be played probably this by this weekend. We should be able to know the 3. It's going to be a corner. Ooh, lovely little flick. It's in the net from Getane Kebede. You could have seen it from a distance, from a mile away. Just the way he was soaring up in the air, and the way he touched it is what endears you to the striker, who now puts in yet another goal, makes it 12, but quite in style is what you will be looking at. He's not a person you could consider to be very endowed with height, but look at it there. He's all alone, and you can see this ball going into the net, Gilbert, being touched by no one else.
It's all a question of being at the right place at the right time. A lot of defenders marking the far post, but he decides to go near post and just flicks the ball, and Nouri Abubakar, no chance at all from one of the top marksmen in the league.
Well, a very early celebration then it will be for the St. George side, with Getane Kebede, the captain, often leading from the front. 10th minute goal. The scoreline changes at the Dinadawa International. St. George 1 and Jima 0. Well then, now Jima will know that in as much as they're defending well, they also need to be able to get away and try to get a goal here. Osuman was pushed it just a little bit too far, but he knows he's going to be coming in for a lot of hard tackles from his compatriot Frimpong Mensu here. It's
not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Whether it's Frimpong Mensa coming towards him or Ashelau Tamene, the national team player on St. George side, he really has to pull something out of the top drawer.
Elizataro that pushes it. This one has got 2 men waiting to actually just pull the trigger. Temesgen Durese is the one who has the possession at the moment. That's the shot that is coming off Osumanu. It has been blocked off, and a foul will be given here. Alex Amuzu. I think he realizes that he can't intimidate this referee here. Ashabir Seboka. I'll wait until the right time, then I'll tell you exactly what Ashabir Seboka does for life. To know that you cannot intimidate him by just a look. Alex Amuzu, I think, dared him into an eyeball stare and found out that he's going to lose this one. So this is going to be Frimpong Mensu again. Back into the midfield. Long one down on the left side. Manuel Gabriel Michael is always a marvel to watch. Brings a very early cross here. Almost trying to run away from all the responsibility of having this ball further than necessary. Kadunya. Oh, we do know that Frank Natal, the coach, loves the wing play. And it's not really a wonder that Teno Kadunya has made his way back to the first 11 because he loves to roll on that right flank. And you can see the ball is rotating on the flanks, Gil, but before it comes in with the crosses.
It is, and there is a new sheriff in town. Frank Natal has really turned around the St. George side. You can see that they have urgency in the way they're moving the ball, and they're using the wing play to their satisfaction.
It's trying to get a midfield penetration. It's going to go out to the right side. I've always had the story, Gilbert, of sheriffs in town. What does a new sheriff...
He comes with a new broom.
That's not a sheriff. That's a new sweeper. Sheriffs use guns, Gilbert. But it's all right. I mean, I'll ask you this question.
The only sheriff who carries a broom.
No. That's a sweeper, not a sheriff. And in which case, we'll just say there's a new broom in town. You don't even need to say who has the broom. Big run down on the right side. And Prince Wongo, and then the header coming from Osumanu. Not on target, but he's hanging in there in the header, in the air. And you can see that he's going to just flick it. You can see the empty net as well. It's the accuracy that lets him down, Gilbert.
Absolutely. That's a well-floated ball right in between the two central defenders. Adunya in there, Ashilai Tamene in there. But again, Osumanu should have directed that ball into the net.
You can actually see the net, and you're just waiting for the ball to hit that net from Osumanu, and you can see him hanging there on his own, and then you watch it veering off. And if you're a Jima but Jifar fan, you feel the pain. If you're a soccer fan, you probably feel even more painful for that miss. A chance for the Jima but Jifar side to have leveled the scores. Might just be a high-scoring game as well. The last time they played in the first leg, we saw 5 goals coming out of that. We were almost about to see a second one here, but that hanging header by Osumanu came in so quickly. How he misses a target is what we will discuss further about how to take headers when you're in that situation. It's back into the midfield. It started so well, the Jima but Jifar side. And you don't want them to lose that composure they had when they're starting the game.
They have a good momentum. They have a good momentum, and I think there's a lot of changes in the team. They're not sticking too much on the ball. They're moving the ball faster and also getting into wider areas.
Oh, Alex Amuzu. What's he arguing about? The ball just...
That is
on his body.
That is one of his characteristics.
No, but the ball is on his body going out, Gilbert. I mean, the fact that you have that characteristic doesn't mean that we excuse you for it. It's just a wrong characteristic. I mean, just play to the whistle, Alex Amuzu. Play to the whistle. It's going to be a throw in here. Yatane Kebede loses it. Taro will provide the support. Yep. And he's fouled in the process as well. It's going to be a free kick for the Jima but Jifar side. You can certainly hope that the one goal doesn't make the Jima but Jifar side feel discouraged, and that they can still put up a fight and a half to be able to try and avoid relegation. Even though the 8 points from 18 matches is not a good record by any standard. An intention to put a through ball here. This is going to be a foul that will be given to the Jima but Jifar side. The guilty man is deemed to be Manuel Gabriel Michael. The pushing and then the charging there. That's well spotted by the referee. Yeah, players never seem to know what they've done wrong. It always seems that they want you to give a graphic illustration of where they went wrong.
I think that's the reason why the world governing body decided to bring an arbiter in this game.
Oh, you mean a referee?
If they were playing without a referee.
Yeah, would be interesting, wouldn't it? You could do anything. But then again, they would have nobody to complain to. Maybe that would just be the advantage, but it can't be played without an arbiter, you know? In English, an arbitrator. You wouldn't play it without it. It would be very difficult. Yes, Getani Kebede. Doesn't get out of that midfield position. And then Nigatu Gabriel Selassie goes all the way back to the goalkeeper, Abubakar Nouri. Nouri's become very solid in that goal for the Jima Jifar side. He was red carded in the 8th minute of the opening game. Difficulty coming back into the first 11. The coach tells St. George, calm down. Initially, we did think that the new philosophy and the wing play would really dismantle the way that the St. George team plays. But it probably has just provided a different way to play the game in the Ethiopian Premier League that is still making them move further up. Absolutely.
And I think with a player of Abdul Karim Mohammed and Enoch Adunya's character, you know, they like moving up, and therefore they provide a lot of wing play and allow the two offensive players, Emmanuel and Gadisa, to get into prime scoring positions.
That would probably be the best part of what Frank Natal is trying to implement in the St. George side. But again, it won him the derby. So it won him the hearts of probably 50% of the fans at the moment, who are already doubting where the team is going. So it's just a question of winning the other as well, and to see whether his plans will work for the side. Like I said earlier, they've got a realistic chance of getting to the second position, to the 3rd position in the Premier League table standings. But a Herculean task to try and get to the 2nd position, because they can get the points, but they will need at least 5 goals to be able to leapfrog the team in the 2nd position on the Premier League table standings. That is Ethiopia Buna. That's difficult mathematics when you do it. 5 goals, and hope that there's no reply from the other side is a little bit optimistic. This is easily read and picked up by Abdul Karim Mohammed. Oh, goes right into his face. I mean, he would have been penalized. Never mind the fact that he was getting a little bit of pain as well. Prince Wango is dispossessed by Emmanuel Gabriel Michael. The throw-in taken quickly by the Jima Jifar side. Abtamani Gusia was going for it, but I think there's a man on the ground. They're going to have to push the ball off the field of play. That's the beauty of the Ethiopian Premier League. At any time, should you have a player on the ground, the fair play issue comes in, and they'll always pull it out.
Absolutely, and I think that is a way. It's like bringing up a child with very good manners.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
And then?
I think the Ethiopian.
And then they stick to the manners.
Yes, the Ethiopian players have got very good manners. They have got very good manners.
Now the fair play is there.
Yeah.
Every time there's a player who's injured, they'll send the ball out. And I think there was a little tussle there by a little bit entanglement there, and Kenyan Makane was involved as well. And he feels a little bit of a pinch. The man who previously was the coach of the Township Rollers on the Hearts of Oak in Ghana, and also Gor Mahia in Kenya, Frank Natal, has found himself again in the East African side, only this time round in Ethiopia, and in charge of St. George. 57% of the ball percentage. In the last 5 minutes have belonged to Jima Jifar. They're competing for literally everything, including the possession with St. George in this one. Of all the matches played, St. George has won 1 out of the last 5. They drew 3 out of the last 5 and lost just 1 out of the last 5. I think some very physical moment there in trying to get possession of that ball from the two sides. That win over Ethiopia Buna in the derby is the one that is pushing them forward. But previously they drew it Sebeta 0-0, drew it Awasa 1-1, and with Direda as well. Here is a shot, looking for a chance for anyone to touch it, coming from the captain Elias Ataro. Rahim Asumanu, who would have been expected to just touch that one into the net this time round, is found flat-footed as well in there. Everybody did think that it was going to be an offside here, but there's no offside from where the ball is taken.
It's a good delivery, and what a way the first touch, Elias Ataro he picks his spot, knows that the defenders are also moving towards their own goal, and any touch on that ball would definitely deflect into the goal.
Would have been easier to go for a direct shot as well.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking from that angle, but it doesn't work the way we want most of the time. It just works the way it works. And for Osumanu, well, that's the one that he will say evaded him. Mensu knows the danger of having that ball near him. Mensu is exerting himself very hard every time he's playing next to any of his compatriots, whether it is Raheem Osumanu or Prince Waongo, the other Ghanaians. He really has been hard on them.
Yeah, and you know, especially on the right-hand side where Prince Waongo is plying his trade, you definitely find Prince Mensu trying to cover that space.
I'm telling you, he slid a couple of minutes here to get the ball out when Osumanu was there. It just tells you that he probably knows their quality, or there's something he knows that he's trying to pass a message to us about, that those are hard players that he needs to get out as soon as he can. Jima bring it back onto the right side. Into the midfield to Nigatu. The Lampit so far behind. Melaku Walde has to try and get it all the way back to his goalkeeper, Abubakar Nuri, who plays for safety and sends it out of the field of play. It's going to be a throw-in, and it is for the St. George side. Well, Kenyan Markne doesn't get to it. And Nuri has a better delivery this time round. Mensu blocks Osumanu's attempt to try and get onto that ball. Back into the midfield. And Adunya had two minds there on whether to approach the ball and pick it up from the center, or wait for it to veer off on the right side and then go for it. Derese is looking for the open spaces, but he didn't get the support that he wanted. They still have the possession though. Too early as Ataro. Oh, good footwork from Ataro. Walaline Gebre then tries to get the return ball into the midfield. He's not going to get a foul for it. Markne, he's got the good build as well. He tries to go through Alex Amuzu, who blocks him in the midfield. This is Prince Waongo now for the Jima Jifar side. Down onto the right side. Well, looking for the spaces. They have to play it all the way back again to Melaku Walde. And a switch onto the left side. Adunya heads it back. Sumanu. Too early as Ataro. Good recovery by the Jima Jifar side to pick up that loose ball after it looked like they were obviously going to use it, to lose it rather.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are, you know, trying to win, to fight each and every ball that is coming their way. And it's good. It's good to recover as soon as you lose possession of the ball and give your opponents little space to be able to move
look at how they've run it. They've brought it all the way back to their own midfield. They're still in possession of it, Gilbert. From what looked like was going to be a chance for them to shoot, they now have the confidence to come all the way back and start it from their own half.
They call it circulation. You know, when it's not working on one side, then the best way is to try and get openings on the other side, which they're doing to a lot of satisfaction.
Yeah, they can call it simply that, but to be able to get the ball from their attack into their midfield, back to their goalkeeper and back into the midfield and into the defense for Jima Jifar, it's not just circulation, it's genius. It hasn't happened before, has it? Have you seen it happening on the Jima side?
Well, but not just
yes,
like it's just like getting yourself in a muddy patch and you have to evade it.
Yeah, you have to come out.
Yes.
But if you get stuck in it, then you will look worse than somebody who gets out of it. So if they circumvent it and come out and they've been stuck there before, then you must compliment them. Jima is doing a good job.
Absolutely.
Of running the ball the way they are at the moment. Bringing it back into the midfield. Mensu is the man who gets there faster. Aida Sharefa. And then to Adunya again. I think he's found some confidence in his game. Osumanu brings it back to Temezgen. Derese, who did well to get himself up very quickly. They're looking for a chance for a shot here. That was going to be a very easy shot. Osumanu. Well, he puts his foot on the ball as well, but Haida Sharefa is stronger and still stays on his feet. He's going to go out for a throw-in. Shabir Boka categorically says it's going to be a throw-in, and it's going to be for the St. George side. This is a hard game, Gilbert.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think Jima will have to pull something out of the drawer to be able to go past the Frimpong Mensu and Ashilao Temene. These are tough customers to come against.
And it's going to be something off the top drawer then. Otherwise, they are already finding it difficult to go through there. It's been cut out by Amuzu. And Kidane Mariam wants to issue some quick instructions to the side. He's not getting the attention that he was. Now he does. You know, a good coach is also mentioned by the kind of results you have against the big teams. Abubakar Nouri gives away a corner here. From what he'd have very easily picked up, I think he lets it bounce in the wrong place and then realizes it might just bounce over him as well. Tries to get onto it, can't pull the length to get to it.
Poor goalkeeping. Oh, I think it's poor timing for him.
It's going to be a corner for St. George. And they've pushed just enough men up at the front. They're leaving 2 men in defense to mark Raheem Osumanu. They're going to have to redo it. They were opting for the short corner. It's Abubakar Nouri who's issuing the instructions that you can hear. So this time round, in swinger with Mensu getting a chance to head it. Goes out for a second corner, it takes a deflection. So that just means that Mensu's header was probably goal bound. Yeah, it bounces off Prince Waongo for a corner. A second corner in a very short time. And again, a chance for the St. George side to get themselves in terms of attack. I think it's Gadisa Mebrate is going to be taking it on the left foot, so he will be carving it inside on the left foot. Enough men in white to go for it and control it. They're not even in a hurry to just take it out. It's not a question of it's just not a question of being safe. It's a question of also playing it out. I think we're going into the water break now, Gilbert. Well played, 27 minutes, you would say, complete with 1 goal as well.
Absolutely. I mean, whoever is joining us at this particular point in time would not be able to discern exactly who is leading in this game, with the way both teams have exerted themselves on the field of play.
And there's going to be instructions, of course, given out at about this time. But Getani Kebede's goal in the 9th minute of the game still stands out. He's not the tallest of the players on the field, but how he soared above everybody else is something that will still be discussed by a lot of St. George fans in a lot of awe and glee as well. But you could say that the St. George side has attacked more with the 27% on the side of the Jima side. We expect a lot of percentage in the midfield because that's where they build it from.
Yeah, that's where they're building it from. And I think going into the second half, the best thing to do is to try and use the wider area. St. George using the left-hand side, mostly because of the capacity of Emmanuel Gebre-Mikhail. And on the right-hand side, of course, Temesgen Derese is doing a lot of work for, not even Derese, it's Prince Waongo.
It's Prince Waongo who's doing a lot of work. Yeah, they're going there a lot of times. They're bringing in the crosses from there. But how he soared above everybody else here. He's totally unmarked here. And you could see this one going into the net a few seconds before it was actually heading there because of the openings that were showing in there. I don't know whether he's gotten some fresh instructions or you think he should continue the way he has been doing in this 27 minutes played.
We call that attacking space, because he moved from a crowded area into a place where there was nobody, and that's exactly where that corner kick was floated.
All right.
So good understanding between him and Gadisa Mebrate.
Well, it's going to be a throw-in. And Ataro with some good ball control to Mesgen Derese joining in as well. And then Ataro taking it out into the open. Derese was so obvious in the way he was going to be going, just the same way as Gadisa Mebrate also looked very legible in the direction he was going to face when the ball was going away. Oh, Amuzu, I told you he's going to hurt himself one of these days. He's always banking on finding somebody to bump into, and then when he finds there's no one to bump into, he's going to fling himself so far one of these days.
There's too much space for him to roll and control.
No, but the momentum, you know, the momentum, if you don't have anything stopping you from going into that, you'll fling yourself too far off. This is going to be a foul. The captain is being told to categorically stop whatever he's trying to do. Ashabir Boka is a no-nonsense referee, Ashabir Seboka. The retake is for the St. George side, who've taken it out to the left side, where Abdul Karim is operating from. Temesgen has moved on to the right side, so we expect that Prince Waongo would be rolling onto the left side in that exchange, in that swap of places. Abdul Karim now. There's one thing that St. George can do to you, is to really make you ball chase, you know. And they look like they're always having some urgency, while actually they just roll the ball around and let you follow and chase until they find the openings. Waongo pushes it forward to Raimo Sumanu. He's pulled it to himself, saying that he was pushed, but the referee says no, it's just going to be a throw-in. Kidane Mariam knows this game is still very far from over. He can still issue fresh instructions. Oh, it was a free kick after all. Menso brings it back to the center. Gadisa Mebrate tries to get it back to the midfield. How to break that defense is what is still troubling the Jima Jifar side. With Mulualem Tesfin bringing it back, they take back the possession. Alex Amuza pushes it into the midfield. Prince Waongo. Lovely little touch of skill by Prince Waongo. Enough to be able to get at least a cross onto the left side. Here is the shot. Now that is called a power shot. It is just parried off by the goalkeeper, Baru Negash. The first real time that anything has gone to Baru Negash. But just the way it is moved from the left to the right, Gilbert, is one to marvel at.
That is Temesgen, and what a way to take a shot from Raimo Sumanu. Half a split second, and the goalkeeper was up to task at this particular point in time.
It's going to be a corner. Prince Waongo originating that move with some stylish play there. And then Temesgen Deresa then executing the switch. It's going to be a left foot in swinger. It's Prince Waongo who's going to be doing it. A very deep, dangerous one. Forces Baru Negash into pushing it out again for another corner. And that's the only touch that ball gets. Tells you just how acute it was carving. They got the tallest of the defenders in there. This one swings on the outside a little. Deresa doesn't get to it. Look at where it swings out to. It's going to be a throw-in. What a shot here.
It's our first-time touch, first-time shot, first-time, good setup. The ball is rolling, good technique, good power behind it, but too close to the goalkeeper. And you can see how Kidane is really, you know, pushing his team up.
That was a good shot. Yeah. That was really well done. It's throw in by Eno Kadunya. Still a lot of holding as well in trying to get possession. Amuzi will send it back to the goalkeeper, Abubakar Nouri. Kalisa Mebrate. Kadunya looks for the options to use. Sharifa will help him out. Almost puts Kene and Markne into a very difficult corner, but Markne gets himself out of it with the help of Gadisima Brate. They bring in a cross, but it quickly carved out for a throw-in. Some disbelief in the face of the defender, almost wondering how did that ball get there and who let it go in there. They left a lot of spaces in the midfield, the St. George side, though, but they're not really worried about anybody getting into that space. It's going to be another offside. Well, if things were to end like this, it will be 33 points for St. George, and that's why I said it's easy for them to get into the third position. They'll just be leapfrogging Bahar Dar, but to get into the second position will require a goal difference you can see of a lot of goals. 5 in my count. That's what they need to score. Otherwise, for the Jima side, they'll still be rooted in the 12th position if it was to end like this. But this is just in the first half. There's still going to be a lot more going in this one. A throw-in to Jima. Got to go out on the right side.
Well, I think, Bernard, it's very, very evident on both sides of the divide that when you play a lot of passes in the midfield, you tend to lose concentration. So the best route out of this quagmire is to try and play very little touches in the midfield and then spray the ball to the wider areas, because on both sides it has really worked for them.
Oh, this is Prince Waongo and Kadunya cutting short his move. It goes to Frimpong Mensu. He's going to take it onto the left side again, or rather into the midfield. That's very quick thinking by Gaetano Kebede. He knows that that kind of push can get Abubakar Nouri to come out of his line. And if you've got a speedy striker up at the front, he can be able to run in that space. Zamuzu, and then Nouri sends it out. It's going to be a throw-in. Prince Waongo. Temesgen Derese has rolled onto the right side, looking for better feed to come from that right side. And he's trying to go in with speed as well, only stopped by Mulualem Tesfit. Oh, they should have used at least a few of the men in the midfield. Now they're not rolling into the midfield as fast, and there's more red than there is white in the midfield every time that ball is coming there, and especially coming from the Jima Jifar side. He's got to go to Mulualem Tesfit again, and to Haida Sharifa. Mebrate, I thought he was looking for a chance to go for a shot, with Gaetano Kebede making a run. This is going to be an offside flag that has gone up, and it's going to be a free kick that will be given to the Jima Jifar side. They've given just as much as they've taken in this half, Gil, but save for the goal, they really are also giving a good account of themselves. Jima, I'm talking about.
They are, and you talked about the football circulation. From tight positions into wider areas. What they need to do is to try and a little bit be more faster, especially when they get into the opponent's half, to get any meaningful.
So they need to move with speed then.
Yes, in the opponent's half.
Okay, so they, as they're in the attack, they are looking a little bit slow, and they need to change that. Well, they don't have all the men they need in attack, and the crosses are being very easily dealt with, especially from the right side. Going to be a foul there. The referee says, look, can you engage in a sportsmanship gesture after that? Because there was an unnecessary foul there that was committed by, I think it was Siom Tesfaye. And so it was the referee's intimation that they should either get into a sportsman gesture, or he was going to penalize someone for it. And I'm sure that you know what option they chose. The easier one is so that you don't get a card. It's a big pass, this one, to Temesgen Derese. It doesn't get to him. It's too high for him to be able to control. It's going to go out for a throw-in. And it's going to be for Frimpong Mensu. Today he's staying in his line and not moving too far off, not coming to the center. They know they've got a predatory striker up at the front in Rahim Osumanu. This goes off the field of play, and it's going to be a throw-in for the Jima Jifar side. A woeful clearance by the captain Ataro. I'm sure he didn't intend that. He probably just wanted to give a little chip on the line to start off a run there. Haida Sharifa is moved it back to his defenders. very big shot, a very big shot. Oh, a couple of players are actually on the bench on the other side. Yeah, Abel Leo, he didn't make it to the team this time round. I think it's because of the yellow cards that he has picked up, and you obviously notice the hairstyle that is very conspicuous to Niles Aleke. Limped off in the last game and was replaced, so it's probably out with an injury. That's the St. George side as well. It's back into the midfield. I don't know if they were sitting next to the CEO, Gilbert, were they? So
yeah, Mr. Solomon. He's in
Solomon
the pen.
McKelly.
Yeah.
So they were sitting next to him. That's very good. They're being taken care of. You know, it's not very often you sit next to the CEO. Sometimes it's only during the Christmas party.
Yeah.
And you know, at that time you avoid sitting there because you know, very many people have been fired just from the Christmas party.
Yeah,
they say a lot of things.
Maybe the CEO is carrying some allowance. So you want to sit close to him.
No.
Just in case.
The story goes that at Christmas parties or end year parties, the people who sit next to the CEO are always telling the CEO, oh, you know, sir, everybody hates you except me. I'm the one who loves you. They try to endear themselves with the CEO, and he listens very intently. But the next day, guess who goes home? Here is a shot by Osumanu. He obviously has gotten the attention of the CEO of the Jima Jifar side. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's a gem up at the front. And it's just that things are refusing to go in the right direction. But he's giving it his all, isn't he, Gilbert?
Yeah, it's a lot of attention that has been put onto Rahim Osumanu by Frimpong Mensah and Ashelao Temene. They've actually restricted him from advancing into the penalty box and, you know, making him shoot from a distance.
Yep, you read it right. Is every blockade being put in his way to make sure he doesn't go farther. So he's got to fire from outside. But that's still good firing anyway. He had one that Baru Negash had to parry out of the field of play. So Mesgen Durese has come into the midfield to try and pick up the position from there. And this is Aptamu. Back to Durese. Deciding not to lump it forward to Osumanu. They're going to have to look for the options. And at the moment it's looking like the backpedaling is the better of all the options. Belaku Walde then has it and switches play onto the left side. Ataro to Alex Amuzu and back to Ataro. Oh, she's given to Wango. Being blocked off by Muluwalem. Rather by Ashelao Temene. Blocking him off that one and making sure he's not going to get into it. So, well, this is a man who can shoot from anywhere, Osumanu.
Yeah, his body shape did not allow him to take a good shot.
What do you mean his body shape?
I mean, he was leaning backwards. When you want to take a good shot,
you mean
yes.
his body poise at that moment?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you mean his shape? That's
shape.
The only shape he's got. He can't change to any other shape. Yeah, the posture at that moment.
Yeah, he's leaning backwards, and definitely
okay.
the ball was going to get a trajectory upwards.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. On the left side, Gabriel Mikael has gotten into the penalty box, looking for a chance for a shot here. Getani Kebede, I think he's the only one who knows the value of pulling the trigger when you can and when you have a chance up there. It's Wango challenging for this one. Good take by Edo Kadunya, who gets it back on the right side. Is looking for where to try and get it out from. Well, a foul here that will be given now to the Jima Jifar side, to Walelin Gebre. We're playing the last few seconds of the first half, Gilbert. What's your take on how it's been played in the first half?
Well, I think there is been very little going on in terms of midfield penetration. For
both sides?
Yes, in the final third. Okay. They've really not had any good passes through the midfield. But they've had very successful passes on the outside, where there is only a 1v1 situation. So I think going to the second half, they need to use more of the outside wing play.
Okay, we'll discuss that on whether or not they have talked about it at halftime, the changes that they should be making at that time. But I think with a few seconds remaining on this one, and a foul already given here, Jima but Jifar will probably have a last-minute chance to try and level the scores. If they don't, then they're going to have to look up to the second half, because we've got only 1 minute of the added time. There hasn't been much stoppage in this half in this game. And a free kick to Jima. Again, they're very careful not to push everybody up at the front, so they leave a 3-man defense. Frimpong puts his head to it. Wango tries some stylish play, gets it onto his left boot. The power and the accuracy of it was going to be the wrong thing there. And then Otaro doesn't recover back to pick up the loose ball. It's going to be a throw-in. It is going to be for St. George. Or if you'd like, in the Amharic language, Kidis Georgis. Leading it by 1-0. A goal scored by Getane Kebede in the 9th minute of the game. It's his 12th goal so far. It's going to be a throw-in that will have to be redone, says Mr. Ashibir Boka. It's a Boka. I think they took it from a little bit of a distance up at the front at Dunya. Try to get some leeway to move further up. That's the whistle for half-time. Very entertaining half in this game. Jima but Jifar not sitting back at all to be able to play this game and giving as much as they are taking out of it. For the new coach, Francis Natal, he knows that his team is leading this one, and that's the way you'd want it to go right up to the end of it. A left-foot-in swinger that was headed in by Getane Kebede in the 9th minute of the game is what we are holding on to up to now in the first half of this game. Hoping that there's going to be a few more goals in it, and hoping there's going to be more entertainment coming up in the second half. St. George 1, Jima 0 at halftime.
ተመልሰናል ተመልካቾቻችን ሁለተኛው ግማሽ ጨዋታ ከመጀመሩ በፊት የመጀመሪያው ግማሽ 45 ደቂቃ ጨዋታ እንዴት ነበር የሚለውን ወደ እናንተ እናደርሳለን። ሁለቱ ቡድኖች ወደ 392 የሚጠጉ የኳስ ቅብብሎችን አድርገዋል። ነገር ግን ሁለት ኢላማቸውን የጠበቁ ሙከራዎችን ብቻ ነው ያደረጉት። በፔኔትሬሽን ኳሶች በጣም የቀዘቀዘ ነገር ግን ሁለቱን ኮሪዶሮች ለመጠቀም የሞከሩበት እንቅስቃሴ የተመለከትንበት ጨዋታ ነበር። አጠቃላይ 45 ደቂቃ የጨዋታ እንቅስቃሴ ምን አይነት መልክ ነበረው የሚለውን አብረን ቆይታ ስናደርግ እንግዲህ የምናይ ይሆናል። መኳንንት በርሄና ዮናስ አዘዘ አብረናችሁ ቆይታ የምናደርግ ነው የሚሆነው። ሁለቱም ቡድኖች በከፍተኛ ፍጥነት ወደ ጌሙ መግባት የፈለጉበት ጨዋታ ነበር ማለት ይቻላል። የተሳካለት ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ነው።
በተለይ በዚህ ጨዋታ ጅማ አባጅፋር በቻለው መጠን ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ፍራስትሬት ለማድረግ የገባ ነው ይመስለውና በእንደዛ የታጫወት ፈጥኖ ጎል የሚያገኝ ቡድን የበለጠ ስኬታማ የመሆን እድል አለውና ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊሶች ፈጥነው ነው ጎል ማግኘት የቻሉት በዚህ ጨዋታ። ጅማ አባጅፋር ጎል ሳይቆጠርበት ረጅም ደቂቃ የሚቆይ ከሆነ ተጋጣሚ ፍራስትሬት እያደረገ ወደ ጨዋታው ሊገባ ይችላልና የቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ በፍጥነት ወደ ጨዋታው መግባት ወይ ፈጣን ጎል ማግኘት ጅማ አባጅፋር ሌላ የጨዋታ አቀራረብ ይዞ እንዲመጣ ያስገደደው ይመስለኛል አሰልጣኝ ጸጋይ። ምክንያቱም ጎል ማስቆጠር አለባቸው። ጎል ሲያስቆጥሩ ደግሞ ከኋላ ስፔሶችን ይተዋሉና ጎል ከተቆጠረባቸው በኋላ ግን ምላሽ ለመስጠት በጣም የተሻሉ ሆኖ አግኝቻቸዋለሁ። ኳስ ተቆጣጥረው በፍጥነት ወደ ተጋጣሚ ክልል ለመድረስ ሙከራ አድርገዋል። ጎል ለማስቆጠር የተሻለ ሙከራዎች አድርገዋል። ጊዮርጊስ ጎል ካስቆጠረ በኋላ ተጨማሪ ጎል ለማግባት ያደረገው ጥረት ደካማ ነውና ከአቡበከር ኑሪ ይልቅ ባህሩ ነጋሽ ስራ በዝቶበት ነበር ከጎሉ በኋላ የሚያሳየው የጅማ አባጅፋር ማጥቃት የተሻለ እንደነበር ነው።
አብዛኛውን ጊዜ በጨዋታ እንቅስቃሴዎች ጅማ አባጅፋር ጎል ከገባበት በኋላ ሪከቨር ለማድረግ ይቸገራልና የዛሬው ጨዋታ ግን ከገባበት በኋላ ጎል ለማስቆጠር በጣም ፍላጎት የነበረው ቡድን ነው። የጌታነህ ከበደን ጎል ነው እየተመለከትን ያለ ነው። ጋዲሳ መብራቴ በሁለት ተከታታይ ጨዋታ 2 አሲስት አድርጓል ከስቴሽን ቦል
ካቆመበት ነው የቀጠለው። ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስም ጋዲሳ መብራቴ በኢትዮጵያ ቡና ጨዋታ ተመሳሳይ ጋዲሳ መብራቴ ክሮስ ያደረገው ነው በአስቻሉ ያስቆጠረው። አሁን ደግሞ ጌታነህ ከበደ ኒር ፖስት ላይ ነው ያለው። በጭንቅላቱ ጨርፎ ፋር ፖስት ላይ ነው ያስቆጠረው እና በጭንቅላት ገጭቶ የሚያስቆጥር ስፔሻላይዝ ያደረገ የዛ ባለሟል የሚመስል ተጫዋች ነው። በጭንቅላት ኳስ ብዙ አላውቀውም ግን ዛሬ የተመለከቱት ጌታነህ ቦታ አያያዙ እንደገና ኳሱን ያስቆጠረበት መንገድ እጅግ በጣም አስገራሚ ነው። ጅማ አባጅፋሮች ማንቱማን ማርክ ማድረግ አልቻሉ። ማንቱማን ካልቻሉ ደግሞ ዞናል ማርክ ብረቱን የጎሉን ግራና ቀኝ ማሸፈን ነበረባቸው። አለዚያ ደግሞ አደገኛውን ተጫዋች መቆጣጠር የነበረባቸው ይመስለኛል። ሁለቱንም አላረጉም። በዚህ ምክንያት ፈጣን ጎል አስተናግዷል በቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ።
ለጌታነህ ከበደም ለቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስም እንግዲህ በጣም ጥሩ የሚባል ጅምር ነው። 1-0 በሆነ ውጤት ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ መምራት የቻለበትን ጎል ነው ያስቆጠረው። ከዛ በኋላ ግን ጅማ አባጅፋሮች እንዲሁ በእንቅስቃሴ ውስጥ ለመዋጥ አልሞከሩም። ወደ ጎል ማግባት እንቅስቃሴ ውስጥ ሄደው ነበር። 2 አደገኛ ሙከራዎችን አድርገው ነበር። የመጀመሪያው ሙከራ እንመልከተው። ኦስማኑ
በቀኝ መስመር በኩል ፕሪንስ ሴቨሪኖ የቀድሞ የቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ተጫዋች በጣም ስፔስ አግኝቶ ነበር። አብዱል ከሪም ለማጥቃት በሄደበት ወቅት ማለት ነው። በግራ እግሩ ጊዜውን የጠበቀ ቆንጆ ኳስ ነው በሁለቱ ሴንተር ባኮች ማለት ላከውና ኦስማኑ በሱ ስታንዳርድ ኳስን ማስቆጠር ነበረበት የሚል እምነት ነው ያለኝ። ትላንት የወላይታ ዲቻው ስንታየው መንግስቱ ካስቆጠረው ጎል ጋር ተመሳሳይ ነውና ምናልባት ኢላማውን የጠበቀ ሙከራ ማድረግ ብቻ ነበር የሚጠበቅበት። ያንን ማድረግ አልቻለምና በጣም ጥሩ የማግባት እድል ነበር ያጋጠመው፣ ሳይጠቀምበት ቀርቷል።
በጫና ውስጥ አለመሆኑና እንደዚህ አይነት የግብ ማግባት እድል ማምከኑ የኦስማኑ ኳሊቲ ላይም ጥያቄ እንድናነሳ ያደርጋል አይደል?
መጠቀም አለበት። አሁን ከጊዮርጊስ ጋር ስትጫወት እንደዚህ አይነት እድሎችን ደጋግማ አታገኝም። እንደዚህ አይነት እድሎች ተደጋጋሚ አይመጡም። ስለዚህ ያገኛቸው እድሎች ለመጠቀም በጣም ክሊኒካል መሆን አለበት። አሁን ተመሳሳይ እድል ላይሰጡ ይችላሉ የቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ተጫዋቾች። ስለዚህ መጠቀም ነበረበት።
ሌላኛውን የጎል ማግባት እንቅስቃሴ ደግሞ እንመልከተው። አሁንም ከኦስማኑ ነው የምንነሳው። በጨዋታ ውስጥ እንግዲህ የመጨረሻውን የሜዳ ክፍል የጅማ አባጅፋርን ጥሩ ለማድረግ ከሞከሩ ተጫዋቾች መካከል አንዱ ነው። ነገር ግን ወደ ኢላማው ወደ ታርጌቱ ሊመጣ አልቻለም። በጨዋታ ውስጥ እንግዲህ የመጨረሻውን የሜዳ ክፍል የጅማ አባጅፋርን ጥሩ ለማድረግ ከሞከሩ ተጫዋቾች መካከል አንዱ ነው። ነገር ግን ወደ ኢላማው ወደ ታርጌቱ ሊመጣ አልቻለም።
እዚህ ጋር የተመስገን ደረሰ የተገኘበት ቦታ በጣም ጥሩ ነው። በመስመሮች መሀል ተገኘ። ለኦስማኑ ጥሩ ኳስ ነበር ያቀበለው። ኦስማኑ ጠንካራ ሹት ነው የመታው። ግን ግብ ጠባቂው ባህሩ ነጋሽን እዚህ ጋር ቦታ እየያዙና ቅልጥፍናው ማድነቅ የሚያስፈልግ ይመስለኛል። ኳሱ በጣም ፓወርፉል ነው። ባህሩ ነጋሽ ግን ጥሩ ፖዚሽኒንግ ነበር። ምናልባት ኦስማኑ በባህሩ ቀኝ ሳይድ ቦታ አይቶ ቢመታው ይበልጥ አስቸጋሪ ሙከራ ሊሆን። ኳሱ በጣም ፓወርፉል ነው። ባህሩ ነጋሽ ግን ጥሩ ፖዚሽኒንግ ነበር። ምናልባት ኦስማኑ በባህሩ ቀኝ ሳይድ ቦታ አይቶ ቢመታው ይበልጥ አስቸጋሪ ሙከራ ሊሆን ይችል ነበር። ግን ባህሩ ጥሩ ቦታ እየያዝ ነበረው። ለግብ ጠባቂ ለአጥቂ ብዙ አማራጭ አልሰጠውምና ጥሩ ግብ ጠባቂ እንደሆነ ያየንበት ነው ባህሩ ነጋሽ።
በሲዝኑ እንግዲህ በጣም ጥሩ እንቅስቃሴ እያደረጉ ከሚገኙ ግብ ጠባቂዎች መካከል አንዱ ነው ባህሩ ነጋሽ። ከቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ታች ጀምሮ ካደጉ ተጫዋቾች መካከል አንዱ ነው። የኳስ ቁጥጥሩን እንመልከት እስኪ። ከፍተኛ የሆነ የኳስ ብልጫ ያለው 55 ከመቶ ጅማ አባጅፋር ነው፣ 45 ከመቶ ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ነው። በሙከራ ደረጃ 6 ዋይድ ሾቶች ወይም ደግሞ ከርቀት የተሞከሩ ኳሶች ነበሩ። ነገር ግን ያጠበቡ ሙከራዎች 2 ናቸው በሁለቱ በኩል የተደረገው። 52 ከመቶ የኳስ ቁጥጥር መሀል ክፍል ላይ ነበረ። ሞር በጣም ለመቆየት ያሰበው ጅማ አባጅፋር ነው። ራሱ ሜዳ ላይ 27 መቶኛ አለው። 21 መቶኛ ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ራሱ ሜዳ ላይ ለመቆየት ሞክሯል። ስለዚህ በጣም ጥድፊያ ውስጥ ነበር፣ ጎል ለማስቆጠር እየወጣ ነበር ወደሚለው ሀሳብ ውስጥ ይወስደናል።
እኔ በጣም ያስገረመኝ ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ጎል ካስቆጠረ በኋላ ማጥቃቱን እርግፍ አድርጎ መተው ነው። እንደዚህ አይነት ጨዋታዎች ተጋጣሚን ረጅም ደቂቃ ይዘህ የምትሄድ ከሆነ ጎል ተቆጥሮ ነጥብ ልጥል ትችላለህና አይደር ሸረፋ ከናም ማርከነህ እነዚህን የያዘ ቡድን ነው። እንደገና ሙሉ አለም መስፍን ለተከላካይ ሽፋን ይሰጣል። ስለዚህ ሁለቱ ተጫዋቾች ይበልጥ ወደ ፎርዋርድ ረኖች ወደ ማጥቃት መሄድ መቻል አለባቸው። ማኑኤል ገብረ ሚካኤል በአንድ አጋጣሚ ድሪብል እያደረገ ሳጥኑ ስለመግባት ሙከራ የዛ አይነት ድሪብሎች ያስፈልጋሉ። ጋዲሳ መብራቴ እንደዚሁ ይበልጥ ማጥቃቱ ላይ በሁለተኛው አጋማሽ የተሻሻለ እንቅስቃሴ ይጠብቅበታል። ሁለቱ ፉልባኮች በዛሬው ጨዋታ የተለመደው ሩጫ ላይ አላየሁባቸውም። ሄኖክ አዱኛ በተደጋጋሚ ቀኙ መስመር ላይ ሲሮጥ ትመለከታለህና ሁለተኛው አጋማሽ ላይ ጊዮርጊስ ሌላ ጎል ለማግኘት አማራጭ ጥረት ማድረግ ካልቻለ እና ጅማ አባጅፋርን እስከ መጨረሻው ደቂቃ ይዞት የሚሄድ ከሆነ በኋላ ላይ አደጋ ውስጥ ሊወድቅ ይችላልና ሁለተኛው አጋማሽ በጣም ወሳኝ ነው።
ይሄ ሚድል ፓርክ የሚባለውን ይሄ የመሃሉን ክፍል ግን የተውት ይመስለኛል። ምክንያቱም ሁለት አደገኛ ኳሶች ብቻ ነው የተነሱት። በቀኝና በግራ በኩል ተከፋፍለው በዞን እያጠቁ ነው የሚገኙትና መሃሉን ተውታል። የተውት ይመስለኛል። ምክንያቱም ሁለት አደገኛ ኳሶች ብቻ ነው የተነሱት። በቀኝና በግራ በኩል ተከፋፍለው በዞን እያጠቁ ነው የሚገኙትና መሃሉን ተውታል።
የአማካዮች ፓሶች አብዛኛው ሳይድ ፓስና ባክ ፓሶች ናቸው። ስለዚህ ይበልጥ ወደፊት የሚሄዱ ፓሶችን ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊሶች ማብዛት አለባቸው። በሁለተኛው አጋማሽ
ሁለተኛው ግማሽ ላይ ምን አይነት ቅያሪ ልንጠብቅ እንችላለን? ለውጥ ሊያመጡ የሚችሉ
በቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ በኩል የሚሄዱ ፓሶችን ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊሶች ማብዛት አለባቸው። በሁለተኛው አጋማሽ
ሁለተኛው ግማሽ ላይ ምን አይነት ቅያሪ ልንጠብቅ እንችላለን? ለውጥ ሊያመጡ የሚችሉ
በቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ በኩል እንግዲህ በተጠባባቂ ወንበር ላይ ብዙ ጎል ለተጨማሪ ጎል ማስቆጠር የሚችሉ ተጫዋቾች አሉ። አንጋፋው ሳላሀዲን ሰይድ አለ። እንደዚሁም ደግሞ መከላከል ካስፈለገ አማራጭ ብዙ ነው። በሊጉ በስኳድ ጥራት በስኳድ ዴፕዝ ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስን የሚያህል የለም እና ቤንች ላይ የተቀመጡ ተጫዋቾች ስትመለከታቸው ሌላ ቡድን ላይ አሁን ቋሚ ተሰላፊ እየተጫወቱ ነበር። ይሄኔና ሁለት ቡድን መስራት ይችላል። ስለዚህ ጨዋታውን ጎል ለማስቆጠርም የጨዋታውን ውጤት ለማስጠበቅ የሚያስችሉ ተጫዋቾች አሉት። በአንጻሩ ጅማ አባጅፋር ጸጋይ ከፕሪ ማች ላይ እንዳለ ለአንተ የኳሊቲ የስኳድ ኳሊቲ ጥራት የስኳድ ጥልቀት ችግር እንዳለበት ተናግሯልና ይሄ ልዩነት የጨዋታው ውጤትን የሚወስን ሊሆን ይችላል።
ተመልካቾቻችን ሁለተኛው ግማሽ ጨዋታ እንድትከታተሉ ከወዲሁ ጋብዛችኋለን። ሁለት አማራጮች አሉ። በነገራችን ላይ ኦፕሽን ወይም ላንጉዌጅ የሚለውን መጠቀም ትችላላችሁ በምትይዙት ሪሞት ኮንትሮል ላይ። በአማርኛ የጨዋታ የቀጥታ ስርጭት ዮናስ አዘዘና ማርቆስ ኤልያስ፣ በእንግሊዝኛ የጨዋታ የቀጥታ ስርጭት በርናንዶ ቲኖና ግልበት ሰለቦ ይጠብቋችኋል። ጨዋታዎቹ ካመለጧችሁ በዩቲዩብ ቻናላችን ላይ ገብታችሁ ሰብስክራይብ አድርጋችሁ የኛ ቤተሰብ ሆናችሁ ጨዋታዎችን ማየት ትችላላችሁ። አሁንም ከቤት ኪንግ የኢትዮጵያ ፕሪሚየር ሊግ ጋር ጥሩ ጊዜ ሁላችሁ ተመልካቾች።
Well, welcome back to the Diredawa International Stadium, surrounded by the big highway, and then of course you can always navigate your way around the city that was born out of the train station linking Ethiopia and Djibouti. The scoreline is in favor of the St. George side at the moment. They have got the bragging rights in the first half in the St. George versus Jima Jifar match. For Barunegash, there isn't much that has been going in his direction. Has had to pull just one big save, and the rest has been covered very nicely by his defenders as well. It's a question of whether he can be able to pull up a good performance, or the defenders to pull up a good performance for him in the second half of the game. Melaku Walde obviously makes it back to the Jima Jifar side. It's good to see him there. Siom Kebede, the coach of the team that is leading at the moment in a runaway fashion in the Premier League in Ethiopia, is here to watch the matches. I think just to make sure that he can be able to know exactly how to stem the opposition when the last leg of the Ethiopian Premier League comes up. They started very quickly with Prince Waongo. A chance here that has been turned in by Temesgen Derese. Believe it or not, Temesgen Derese has scored 2 of the quickest goals in resumption. And this one is about 16 seconds. He beat his own record of 28 seconds that he scored against Awasa. He's done it again, Temesgen Derese. And they've called in 15 seconds of the game to change the scoreline here for the Jima Jifar side and bring them back into the game. A quick one by Osumanu. Down on the left side to Prince Waongo. A big cross missed by Osumanu and touched in by Temesgen Derese.
But this is something that they've talked about in the dressing room, because that is a quick start. 11 seconds to the clock.
Is it 11?
Waongo brings a beautiful cross right in between the central defenders, and what a way for Temesgen. Oh, well, that's a beautiful goal. Beautiful
I made it
goal.
15 seconds. You could make it
it's
less.
11 seconds.
But he scored 28 seconds into the resumption in the last game they played. This is going to be some of the quickest goals scored in the Ethiopian Premier League, and probably any other league in Africa as well. But the scoreline changes. Now it is St. George 1 and Jima Jifar 1. We got a game in our hands now.
Absolutely. I mean, what a way to start the second half.
We got a man on the ground here. It's Alex Amuzu. My fear, as usual, is that he exerts himself just a little bit too much and could be hurting himself at some point as well. And Frank Natal obviously not knowing exactly what happened there, but some of the quickest goals have always been scored immediately after the game starts or on resumption of the second half. The men who do the psychoanalysis will tell you that's the time that everybody is still slightly asleep. That's one touch, two, and then the third touch is a cross, and the fourth touch is a goal. It comes from Temesgen Derese. Yeah, he's happy with himself.
There's something they discussed it. There's something that they discussed in the dressing room.
Well then, they're going to have to settle down now and probably play the second half well. That's already 2 goals that we've seen in this one. The last outing, we saw 5 goals in total. Oh, we hardly had time to introduce everybody who's in here for this game. Coming a little bit late, I would inform you that Marcos Elias and Jonas Azeze will take you through the Bari commentary. I'm with Gilbert Salebwa. And Gilbert made it 11 seconds. I thought it was 15, but 11 is even better than 15. Tells you that it was scored even much earlier than you anticipated. Jima certainly had a spot of genius there. And Temesgen has scored his 6th goal now for the Jima Jifar side. They're running position as well, bringing it to the midfield. Now it just refuses to come all the way back to where they intended it to go to.
Well, it's a tough
one now, back into the midfield. Yes, Gilbert.
It's a tough outing for St. George. The 4 times that they've met, and the reverse fixture was Jima 2, St. George 3. But before that, Jima had beaten St. George by 2 goals to 1, and also beaten St. George by 1 goal to 0. So coming to this game, I think psychologically both teams know that if you go to sleep for a second.
That's in the previous seasons.
Yes.
Yeah, they had that bragging right as well. But yeah, St. George has gone over them 3 times in this fixture. And Jima's won it one time. Yep. And the head-to-head would give it as one draw as well. Nevertheless, the statistics just count for that statistics. What you count for is literally what is in the game at the moment. This is a long one into the area. The goalkeeper has his hands on it, but a chance to turn it in by Getani Kebede. He was thinking that it could have been a foul on the goalkeeper, so he doesn't put the full power on it. Plus, he has to rotate like 360 degrees to be able to get to it. There's no offside at all, no offside flag. They thought that that would have been a foul. Getani Kebede with a quick turn here finds enough men who bump it off for a corner. It's going to be for St. George. It's going to be action all through this game.
Absolutely.
It's every assurance of that. And a right foot in swinger. Kenyan Markret is going to be penalized for a foul. And it should be on Prince Waongo.
Well, again, you talk about the goalkeeping problems. Abubakar Nouri should have put his hands on that ball. If you can't get hold of it, then the best way is to punch it away from action.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that would probably come from that indecision of whether to hold the ball in your hands or to push it out. What's the complaint here, Gilbert?
I'm not sure. I think that should be Siom Tesfaye.
Yeah, but he's complaining about having been kicked or something like that.
Accosted in his own half.
It's back into the midfield for St. George. Some hard tackling that is coming off the feet of Melaku Wolde. A little bit of a defiance kind of tackle that he was executing there. With Frank Natal close by there. He's probably giving instructions to Emmanuel Gabriel Michael from behind. This is a long one, and again, the goalkeeper just comes out to cover it. Now, you know Abubakar Nouri loves to come off his line most of the time, so that's the other thing that the strikers of the Jima Jifar side, the St. George side know about. So they're going to be utilizing that a lot, knowing that any space between the goalkeeper and the defenders can be very easily used. I don't know where Nouri was taking that ball to. It looked like it was going to go right out of the field of play. It's back into the midfield now, with an attempt to try and get it onto the right. That chip is not very well done by Emmanuel Gabriel Michael. He's got this tendency to look like he's losing confidence and just losing his composure as the game proceeds, Gilbert.
I think it's just a question of losing concentration.
Why?
Last
time he played, he played only 74 minutes.
That's your man, Jacob Penze.
Jacob Penze, Idalabe Nasir are all on that bench on the Jima Jifar side. Thank you for allowing me to own him. My man, you said. He came in to salvage the situation. You got to have respect to the goalkeepers. Idalabe Nasir, in my opinion, would be classified as a goalkeeper as well. Here is a cross. Here the bravado, Idalabe Nasir, to come in as a goalkeeper when Abubakar Nouri was red carded. So it's going to be a free kick that will be given here to the Jima side. A lot of appeals going to the referee over that decision. I don't think he's listening to that at all. Yeah, there's a push coming in from behind. It seems to be coming in from Gadisa Mebrate. So you and I get a chance to see it twice. The referee sees it only once. So again, Baru Negash comes into focus, and now he's going to be organizing his defense and where he's going to place himself as well. It's very tight marking on Osumanu especially. Again, it's very quickly taken. They know the value of just speed here, and that is what they were capitalizing on. And Temez Genterese, I think, has just perfected the art of going very quickly while everybody else is organizing himself.
Yeah, that's quick feet. Good technique. The ball is dipping. Just a moment. For a second, it just didn't really dip at the right time, and almost hitting the target.
Long ball onto the left side. Pringpom Mensu, the Ghanaian, playing in defense for St. George. Very solid and remaining in his position today, not moving too far out every time. Here is Abdul Karim. It's back into the midfield to Haida Sharefa. Oh, that's the one man who's giving a performance that sometimes would really deceive you as not being worthy of being on the field. I'm talking about Walelin Gebre in just the 24. I mean, he's got a very lazy demeanor in the way he's handling himself in the field, and doesn't look like he's going to get anything. This one almost shaving off the crossbar from a power shot that came off the left side by Temesgen Derese. Abdul Karim sends it out. And Ashley Tamene then finds Haida Sharefa. Now they're going to play with Barunegesh. Push further out. This is into the midfield now to Oluwalem Tesfaye, who again sends it down onto the centre. But quick decision, sends it out for a throw. It's going to be for the St. George side.
Oh, yeah, that was good technique. It's good technique. Close, eh? Oh yeah, very, very inviting. And
look at the coach.
And appetizing.
No, the coach is not hungry. He's angry.
He's angry.
You can see it. He's got his mouth wide open, issuing instructions out. And so that gets it to Haida Sharefa, and Getani Kibede with a through ball down onto the left side. Can Emmanuel Gabriel Mikhail was trying to bring in a cross, didn't turn on the right foot. I think there's a player on the ground, and everybody's calling for that ball to be sent off the field of play. Ultimately out to be able to get some medical attention. I'm just wondering where the Jima physio is. The rest would have been already on the touchline waiting for permission to get onto the field. It's a little bit of a kind of late call here. You know, it's the men who give the first line of treatment in terms of the first aid. You expect them to be there literally all the time. And I don't know what he felt by the time he went down. There he is again. I tell you, it's Walelin Gebre, in my opinion. I told you earlier on that there was that lazy demeanor making it look like he was feeling something onto the field of play.
Yeah, that is a hamstring. And if it twitches a little bit, then the only thing that you need to do is just try and slow down and get medical attention, because once it snaps, you're out of the game.
He had slowed down. We noticed it. He was already moving very slowly. And even in the last control that he had, it looked like he was not very comfortable doing it. And the pain on his face here tells you that it's holding even tighter, and he might not continue this one. They may have to look for a substitute for it. No point in stretching the hamstring further. Although I see him on the sideline asking to be allowed back onto the field of play. There you see him on the left of your picture, just at the bottom. As Jima pick it up again. This is Temesgen Derese. Lovely cutback. Osuman, who is looking for support as well. It's going to come out from Nigatu Gebre Selassie. Suman, who is appealing to the referee for that foul. Nothing going for him. We didn't get a chance to discuss what they wanted to do in the second half, Gilbert, but I think they did it before we discussed it.
Absolutely. And I think from the way you've seen Jima reacting is that they are quick on the break, and they want to, their decision is to try and get the St. George side napping.
Yeah, the coach knows that as well.
He knows it, and that's why he's very livid with his defenders, especially when they leave the Jima forward line hanging in their ranks.
It's going to go back into the midfield, and Prince Waongo just manages to cut it back to Abtamu Nigusi, and a long ball. That space is the one they want to exploit. But this time around, Barunegesh didn't come too far off, stayed in his line. And it's an easy pick for him when he stays where he's supposed to be. Kenyan Markne. Good cut back to Gadisa Mebrate, who looked like he was wondering where that ball has gone to. True to what Gadisa would do, he'll never engage himself into a situation where he tries to, Emmanuel, where he tries to challenge for the ball. He'll never engage in that. He always just lets it be cleared off then.
Yeah.
And he loses possession. He will lose the goal kick as well here.
He knows who's coming.
Yeah, but he's going to have the last touch as well. Yeah. He had the last touch, you know. Should have touched that ball well. I think he's already been intimidated by Alex Amuzu. It's Emmanuel Gabriel Michael who was on that left side. He's going to get attention. So a goal kick that will be taken by Abubakar Nouri. Right into the midfield. Haida Sharifa will head it back, but illegally it's going to be given out for a free kick for Jima Jifar. Nigatu himself needs to spray some passes from the midfield to the men up at the front, and there's three of them. Other than have them scrounge back in the midfield to come and pick up the feed. Very big boot. Ongo brings it back, and then a quick cut by Ashley Otamena sends it forward, and Getani Kebede is challenging for it. He's going to go for the very first shot here. Muzu was cutting him and boxing him out on the right side. He had no alternative. I think, frankly, he wanted to get rid of that ball as quickly as he can.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Muzu is a big guy, very, very intimidating. And, of course, Getane Kebede knows that that ball was not within his reach, and therefore he just decides, okay, let me just get it out.
Kenyan Markne on the left side. And he manages to bring it back. Oh. It's going to be a difficult one for Walalin Gebre. He's barely just struggling to be on his feet on the field. At the moment, his contribution is minimal for the Jima Jifar side. As Temesgen Dereza gets off, he's looking for Subanu and puts him through, but in a very acute angle. And Subanu tries to cut it back. He had already given up. You could see it in the run, but he still does the best that he can under the circumstances.
Well, that's very good communication between Osumanu and Temesgen Dereza. Of course, Dereza knew that he had space on the right-hand side, and Sumanu just really didn't pick the right spot. But what a way to avail himself in that pass.
He's tried the shots from outside in the better part of this game today. And it's just that they have not totally worked out for him. This is too big a cross coming from Prince Waongo. A goal kick will be given to the St. George side. 62nd minute of the game. 1-1 is the scoreline. Jima Jifar hanging on to this one for dear life. They are in the 12th position out of 13 in the Ethiopian Premier League with a minus 17 goal difference and 8 points. The only other person who's worse than them is right at the bottom of that. And, well, Patrick Matasi, the goalkeeper, the Kenyan goalkeeper, is on the bench, has been for a little while now. Yeah, it was bound to happen. He was not going to stay long. Walalin Gebre, I think, feels a pinch of it all and will be substituted. Surafel Wall will come in his place. So a midfielder coming in for another midfielder, Gilbert.
Well, I think the introduction of Surafel Wall will definitely push Prince Waongo to play right behind Rahim Osumanu, and then they will revert to a 4-2-3-1 with Abtamo Nigusi and Nigatu Gebre Selassie playing as two holding midfielders.
This has gone off the field of play. And it's going to be given back to the St. George side. Temesgen Dereza almost changed the scoreline for the Jima Jifar side twice. Once with a free kick and second time with an assist to Osumanu that didn't bear the fruits they wanted. Down on the right side to Kenyan Marknet. Keeps on roving from left to right. And he leaves Emmanuel on the left side most of the time. It's a hard one coming to Gadisa Mebrate. It's going to be a goal kick. It's going to be a throw-in for the St. George side. They are also in a hurry. Dunya can't get to it. Ataro is trying to entice him to come in and bump the ball off him so they can get a throw-in. This is going to go out of the field of play. It's going to be a goal kick. So as the defense organizes itself with Abdul Karim going back into his defense, I think there's been a substitution. Gadisa Mebrate, I think, has not come back into the field of play or has walked out on the other side after not feeling very well and has been replaced by Salahuddin Said. Gilbert, what do you make of that?
Yeah, it's an ex-Ethiopian international. He's got very quick feet. He's very, very good in finishing. I think this is the second time that we have seen him coming in the matches that have been played in Diridawa.
Big run down on the right side, the 45 being cut back, and you sometimes chance on the defender putting the ball in his own net, and I think that was the thought here, that Melaku Walde would probably try to clear that and then would get the wrong touch on it, but it went well for the Jima Jifar side. The rest has gotten onto it. Sumanu is changing the wing onto the right side. Tesfaye. And it's intercepted by Kenyan Marknet. Still keeps it in play with some very good ball control. That gets it back to St. George. Going to be a throw-in. And it's back into the midfield. Again for St. George. Do you detect an urgency in the way St. George is playing, Gilbert?
Yeah, they're actually trying to permeate through the right-hand side where Adunya is flying in straight.
That's what they've done right through. They've always wanted to use the right side.
Yeah, I think it's the most effective position on the field that St. George is using to the maximum.
Oh, the speed is also coming into play now. They're moving progressively and in haste. That's because we're playing the 67th minute of the game. Kenyan Marknet brings it back to Abdul Karim, who rolls it again. Abubakar Nouri could have just again released the ball. It's just lucky that there wasn't any predatory striker very close to him. And everybody expected this to go into his hands. Otherwise, a slight touch on this one and you just deflect it into the net.
It's a weak cross from Abdul Karim Mohammed and right in the hands of Abubakar Nouri. But today, I think he has a problem either in his timing or he's putting on the wrong type of gloves.
Well, we all know that he's not holding very tightly onto those balls. It's about the third time that has happened. It's back into the midfield. This is going to be a foul on Osumanu. The big man wincing in pain. He's going to be rolling all over, and we'd said it before that some very tough marking is going to be coming onto him, but he didn't expect it to come that hard and to come from his compatriot Frimpong Mensu. The coach would obviously get worried about it, but Mensu just goes very hard onto Osumanu. I mean, is it about familiarity, or why would he go that hard? This is a serious offense that will obviously attract the punishment of a card.
It's an open foot. It's an open foot from Frimpong Mensa, and that should warrant a card. And a serious card.
Unnecessarily, but he's been going hard like that on anyone else, especially the foreign players who have been coming towards him. He's really handled them a lot roughly. Oh, Osumanu will limp off. This is that cross that came in earlier and was mishandled by Abubakar Nouri. And he then just quickly recovered to start it. Needs to really re-examine himself on what he's going to be doing in this game. So Subaru is off the field of play. Surprisingly, Frimpong Mensah gets away with it. It really does get away with it.
That was an open foot, Bernard. It warranted a card.
Careers have been ended by those kind of tackles, and sincerely, it was an open boot there. I know Mr. Ashabet Seboka has looked at it as well. Probably thinks it was just a normal tackle, but when you look at it on the replay, you know that it's not a very light tackle. The ball, of course, touches the hand of the defender there, but there's no intention to handle it. It's just the hand is in a natural position there. This is to Prince Waongo. Too many touches on that ball from Prince. And then across from Adunya, very well cut off. That little header by Amuzu is the one that deflects it away from Kenyan Markne and Getani Kebede, who were waiting for it. It's going to go out for a goal kick, this one. And it's going to be for the Jima Jifar side. There's that little header there, and that's the one that hit the hand, but you'll be the judge of that one. I think the hand was in the natural position.
Yeah, it was right next to his body.
Osuman has been yellow carded for some reason. The referee waited for him to come back onto the field of play.
I think it was because of the refusal for him to get onto the...
This is Getani Kebede, pushes it through the feet of Alex Amuzu, but then not accurately towards goal. Wanted to be stylish here. It still grazes the feet of Alex Amuzu. That's what makes it a corner, but right through his feet there. And with Abubakar Nouri on the ground following it, he decided, couldn't get to it and couldn't salvage it from going out for a corner. This has already veered off the field of play. You know, it boomerangs out and comes back into the field. So it's going to be a goal kick. Now we are seeing few attacks and not very quality attacks as well from either side. Is it because of the moment? Is it because it's the 71st minute?
I think these are the provider time, 70th to 75 minutes. That's when a lot of mistakes are made. And this is where you give a player of Kebede's caliber just a small opening. And he'll prove to be a very disastrous player in front of you.
There it is again. So Abubakar Nouri just found himself on his knees watching this one as it rolls past, but it could have gone easily into the net there. And that touch by Abuzu is the one that made it a corner. Getani Kebede wanting to score a very classic goal and to embarrass the defender as well. So Nouri takes it to Prince Wango. He's preferred to send the balls onto the left side of attack most of the time. There's only 5 shots on target in the entire 72 minutes that have been played. And 2 goals have come out of that. This is Salahidin. This is Surafel, the new substitute that came in for the Jima Jifar side. Waiting to see what Salahidin will do up at the front. He's switched positions with Getani Kebede. Nice one who's at the top of the striking for the St. George side, who are looking for sharpness. They've just come out of a win against Ethiopia Buna in the Shegar Derby. First time in history that it has been played outside of Addis Ababa. Kenyan Markne finds Abdul Karim Mohammed. It's a very long ball for Enoch Adunya to run to. But the idea was very good in trying to switch the play onto the right side. The referee will stop play again for the water break for the second half. A break that is used by the coaches as well to issue instructions for them to restructure, to regroup, to look at what they need to do. 1-1 the scoreline, with one of the fastest goals scored on resumption on 11 minutes by Temesgen Darese, beating his own record of 28 seconds that he scored on resumption in yet another match. I think that was with the Wasa. So is probably trying to outdo himself here. This time round, I think they've been attacking the left side of the field more than the right side, Gilbert.
This game is 50-50. I mean, a lot of work in the midfield, and very sparingly attacking from both left and right hand side on both sides of the divide. I think 45% for St. George on the right hand side. That is where Gabriel Michael is operating from, and Adunya, and also for Jima on the left hand side, where now there is Prince Waongo and Surafera Wall attacking from the left hand side of the field.
Where St. George is attacking more on the right, the Jima side is attacking more on the left, and vice versa. So I think they've just exchanged the ideas on which side to go to. Abdullah Beckham is a young man on the right of your picture. The extreme right is waiting to get a chance to be able to come back. We've not seen him in recent times. He's played 5 games so far, scored only 1 goal in the process. But Jima looking expectant to be able to win this game. You can see the determination on the face of the players, and also the anxiety of whether or not they're going to be taking some points out of this one. Barunegash has to make himself part of play most of the time, because there isn't much that is going towards him at the moment. And has got to keep himself in shape as well. So again, we haven't had much stoppage in this second half, just a 1-minute break for water. That means there's going to be very little in added time as we continue into it. So the resumption is going to be given back to the Jima by Jifar side. It's the captain himself, Elias Ataro, who wants to take it for a throw-in. Oh, Deresa is giving 110% in this game today, and pushing as well. Barunegash sends it back. Amuzu. Haida Sharifa now will bring it back down in the midfield. And Adunya wants it to run on the wings. It's brought back by Gabriel Mikael. Onto the left side now to Abdul Karim. They don't get the combination that they were looking for. Prince. And that push is going to be deemed to be illegal. Coming off Wilwalem Tesfin on Siop Tesfaye. It's going to be a throw-in that will be made for the Jima side. But a substitution as well in the offing. Kenyan Markne, I think, has run out of gas a bit, slowed down a bit, and his place has been taken by Abel Ndale, a midfielder who has played in 8 matches so far. What do you make of that, Gilbert, that kind of substitution at about this time?
I think both Kenan Markne and Abel Ndale have the same characteristics, getting the ball and try to drive forward. So I think just pulling out Markne and bringing in some fresh legs for Abel Ndale would maybe bring out the necessary attack that Natal is looking for.
Sister Mesken Teresa lifts it into the penalty area. Frimpong heads it away, looking for a chance here to go for a shot. Abdul Karim Mohamed lifts it back into the midfield. It's just going to be a free kick here. Very quickly taken for St. George. Weighing the options of where to take the attack to. Abdul Karim leaves it to the newest man on the field of play, Abel Ndale. Gonna go back to the midfield then. So a foul in spite of the advantage. So it is at the discretion of the referee to decide whether he's giving the advantage or he's gonna stop play altogether. St. George will pick it up again. They are pushing forward now, with Jima settling into the defense. And again, at about this time, we must again categorically say that the character of Jima will come into question again. They have lost matches in the very last moment and drawn matches in the very last moment of the game. It's about 11 minutes to go to the end of this one in regular time, and they're tying with one of the oldest, most successful club in Ethiopian football history. And that is a big, big achievement at the moment. But can they have the character to hold on to it? Or let's be more optimistic. Can they have the character to take all the 3 points out of this one? Look at it this way, Gilbert. That St. George beat Ethiopia Buna just in the last match they played, and that was in the derby. And now Jima is holding St. George at the moment at 1-1. That should be something that motivates them to play even better.
It does motivate them. It does motivate them. And for the mere fact that they are also hanging on a thread, you know, sitting second last on the table, it gives them the impetus to be able at least to bring their A game and try at least run away, if not with 3 points, a point in this particular game.
There's going to be another substitution here. Sadiq Secho is coming in for Rahim Osumanu. Now that just means that probably Osumanu is injured enough not to be able to continue with this game. I can see him wincing as well. As Sadiq Secho then will replace him here. A man who's scored 1 goal and who was rested in the 73rd minute against Sebeta. Now he comes in the 80th minute. A little bit late for a man who's required to salvage the situation here, but sometimes they do that. So if this ends as it is, St. George will be in the 3rd position with 31 points. It's a question of the goal difference that would probably take Bayadar into the 4th position. Then for the Jima Bajifar side, it doesn't move them too far. It just leaves them in the same position again, Gilbert.
Yeah, not a good start. Though picking a point from St. George, who actually won the derby, the Shaga derby, would be a good confidence booster for them moving to the next match. But they clearly need the 3 points.
There's going to be a free kick here. Lifted down into their box, and then Frimpong Mensu himself almost handles it. It's going to be a foul because of too many feet, and I think the flag was also up as well. Abubakar Nouri is intimating that his fingers are in trouble here. But I tell you, that stopper can be of a disastrous consequence for them. It's the flag up here on Frimpong Mensu. He's in the offside position by the time that ball is coming to him.
Yeah, and there's an initial handball call from him, and Kebede is furious.
He's furious, yeah. But the handball didn't even count at that moment.
Count.
Yeah, but the ball came back and he was in the offside position. Frank Natal is looking for some air to be able to scratch it. Tani Kebede is livid about that decision. The referee is down, and he knows it takes off a little bit of the pressure they were exerting. Here it is again. Look at where Frimpong is. He goes for a handball, stays there. He's not leaving there. So when the ball comes to that side, he's in between the defenders and the goalkeeper already.
Yeah, and I think Kebede is furious that Frimpong actually got into his way, because he had control of that ball, and he feels that given an opportunity would have scored.
You'd have changed the scoreline.
Yeah.
He already scored in the 9th minute of the game. That's perfectly all right. I mean, in terms of Frimpong himself also trying to get to score the goal. But for Abubakar Nouri, you hope he's not just doing it to take off the time. The header by Getani Kebede in the 9th minute of the game, a hanging header, no marking whatsoever, and accurately putting it in the net, put the St. George side in the driving seat. But this one by Temesgen Derese, I made it 15 seconds, Gilbert made it 11 seconds in the resumption, is the quickest goal scored on resumption, probably also in all-time play in the Ethiopian Premier League by Temesgen Derese. And that is what has put the scoreline at 1-1. Abubakar Nouri is back on his feet. The character of Jima will come to question, Gilbert.
It has, and there's no doubt they played extremely well, especially offensively. They have 3 players at the top.
Here is a big cross coming from Temesgen Derese. If he provides the crosses, there's got to be somebody else to go for it. I think they have Sadiq Secho in the game at the moment, hoping that he's going to be able to capitalize on those ones that will come to it. Otherwise, they'll have to get into the midfield and provide them themselves. And then they've also got Surafel Awal, who needs to provide it to them. Frimpong. This is Abdul Karim Mohammed. This will be more of benefit to the Jima Bajifar side than to the St. George side, because the St. George side is contending for at least the second position or the third. A good lift into the box. This time round, Abubakar Nouri is very solid in it. I should release the ball as fast as he can. He knows he's always a recipient of very late minute cards. Against Sabeta, he got a card in the 80th minute for just time wasting. Happy today, it's the 85th minute, so no indication of time wasting at all in this one. Yeah, they're holding possession as well. And it's good of them to be able to hold possession, because then you make sure that the attack is not coming towards you, and foul on Abtamo Neguse will give them a chance for a free kick. Or you'd expect them to have a difficult task of defending and attacking as well, and to be able to live up to that task. So lifted again, appealing for a handball here, and appealing for a penalty as well on Edo Kadunya's hand. Probably confirm if we're able to see it again. But Adunya was trying to clear that ball out.
He held that ball.
He did.
Yeah, it just happened too fast for the referee
but did his hand, was his hand in a natural position?
It was way above his normal position. It was not. It was not close to his. It was not close to his body.
What do you mean way above his normal position? The normal position of his hand is it comes out of the shoulder. So what do you mean way above his normal position?
I will show you when that happens.
Okay. Are you trying to say that his hand was lifted higher up or something?
It was in a natural position.
Okay. Here it is again. He's jumping.
Yes, it is not in his natural position. It's a penalty.
Would have been deemed to be a penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's actually turning on the other side. Although the momentum is what drives him here. I think the coach knows that this was a dangerous situation. I don't know what he's saying, but Frank Natal is not very happy about it as well. Adunya has just escaped. St. George has escaped with that one. Again, I have to remind you, you see it twice, you and I. The referee sees it only once. Prince Waongo doesn't take the ball with him. I think Abdul Karim shows him what he should have done with the ball when he had it in his possession. A quick one now, and Waongo's chasing for it. Good cut back to Temesgen. Oh! Temesgen would have changed this one forever, but he hits it so hard, and he doesn't look at where it is going. A yellow card is given to Getane Kebede, but Temesgen Derese had a chance to really be the pride of the Jima Jifar side, Gilbert.
Well, I think Kebede trying to play around with the ball right in his own half. Here he loses the ball, and it's a quick fit from Waongo there. Temesgen has somebody else on the left-hand side to give that ball to, but he just flaps that opportunity.
Well, he wanted to be the superstar here, but he could have been the real superstar by just getting the ball out on the side. Getane Kebede, of course, gets a yellow card for that reaction he had on Waongo, just pushing him off the ball. He's going to go back into the midfield. Surafella tries to take it away and to move it out. Waongo, can he have the speed? Can he be able to take on the Muluanen? Well, now he does, and Salahidin is in the offside, says the assistant referee.
That's Sadiq.
Salahidin was very I beg your pardon, Sadiq was in a very obvious position even in the last time, but he's called on for an offside. 5 offsides in total now. Oh, Sadiq should have just placed himself better and watched the line as well. Just taken by Nouri. He'll begin his antics at about this time, won't he?
If there's a game that St. George would want to forget quickly, is this game between them and Jima. Because Jima have been very, very compact, especially defensively. And anytime they decided to string passes on the offense, it has always ended up being a very, very, very positive mood.
Well, St. George looking like they're the ones who are looking for options in this game, and not the other way around. They're looking like the smaller team at the moment. This is on to the left side. The new Manabel and Dale making it count for his short time on the field of play. Then a quick lift into the box here. Getane Kebede with a half-hearted attempt to try and remove it from there. Well, they've got only one man to beat on the outside, but Temesgen cannot get there fast enough. I'm not sure, Gilbert, that Sadiq Secho was feeling okay by the time he's delivering that pass. Looks like he was limping by that time.
Yeah, I think there was a knock on his right side of his leg, and it pulls him down a little bit.
89th minute. Scoreline is at 1-1. And Okadunya brings a slow one. That is cleared off by Alex Amuzu. Gonna get it out for a throw-in. And St. George have made another substitution. They have brought in Miss Ganau Melaku. Oh, they must have benched Mebrate, who's left on the other side of the field.
I think Gabriel Mikael. Gabriel Mikael.
Gabriel Mikael.
Yeah.
Who they have benched. Well, Temesgen Teresa would have changed the direction that Jima Jifar would have been looking at in this game, but he goes for power. He doesn't look on the side, and the power doesn't give him the best of results here. Here is Sadiq. He doesn't spray the passes, and so he loses possession for his side. Goes down on the right side now. And Okadunya. They still don't get through as well. Gets back onto the left side of Frimpong Mensu. Another Ndale. It's a return ball. Ndale just manages to try and sneak it through. But Salahidin was facing the other side. Can Jima mount a counter-attack? Or can they build it up to try and get the 3 points out of this one? Surafel Awol is cutting back into where there's so many. Oh, he's gonna get in trouble. Now you see where the difference is? That is intention to handle the ball. And you can see the intention very well with the hand going out to scoop the ball onto the other side. And so that gets him a yellow card. But he didn't need to do that. He just needed to spread the ball out earlier.
Well, they're always expecting the referee's decision to go their way.
That's a problem.
That's a big problem. Instead of just going on ahead with the game, he decides to get himself a yellow card, an unnecessary yellow card.
You're going to have 4 minutes of added time. Nadunya and tries to sneak it through again to Salahidin Said. This is Derese. Big boot up forward. Surafel very easily waylaid in this one. Doesn't work too hard to pick it up. Not as hard as Temesgen Derese has worked to take it out. And he's got it on the left side. The advantage is given to the Jima Jifar side. Temesgen is lifting it to Sadiq Secho. Baru Negash has stepped out of the field. He has. You and I saw it. And it's going to be a free kick right at the edge of the box. Correctly so.
I'm not sure why he's zagging. I mean, it's very obvious.
There it is. The foot and that one is out. And he brings it back quickly. And once he started without anybody seeing him, it's not going to work. Mr. Ashabir Seboka has been very, very vigilant. And an indirect free kick will be given to the Jima Jifar side. What is your hunch on this one, Gilbert?
Well,
you think they're going to use it well? It's
a dangerous one, and I hope that Temesgen Derese is the one who's going to take this one, because he's got quality kicks and very good, especially on set pieces, with good power and good technique.
So you think he's going to go for power and bounce it off someone in the wall or something?
He just has to pick the right spot in between the goalkeeper and one of the posts.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's covered by the defenders.
The defenders will cover one side.
Yes.
So he has
the goalkeeper the other.
Yes. So he has to keep. It has to be a power shot in between the goalkeeper and one of the posts.
It's going to be indirect, so it's got to bump off somebody else, I think.
It's outside the box.
Oh, it's outside.
Yes.
Oh, it's not inside. Okay, it's outside the box. It's just on the line. Quite right about that. It bounces off all the same. It goes out for a corner. An attempt to lift it up by Surafel Awol could have changed everything for the Jima Jifar side here. Now you wish they hadn't gone directly as well. You know, it jostled the wall a bit, but they get a corner.
It's not a bad shot.
They're not in a hurry.
It's not a bad shot at all.
They're not in a hurry to take the corner. It just tells you they're very, very content to have this going their way and to have it going for a draw. And they're bringing in For this man, Waongo Prince, they're bringing in Idalamin Nasir. Idalamin Nasir is a man who is probably the bravest of all the Jima Jifar players by having decided to be the goalkeeper when Abubakar Nouri was red carded in the very first match of Jima Jifar. And he did well to take all the pressure from them. I guess Atari is going to pick it up for Jima. They still have enough men up at the front. Temesgen Terese is handled the ball. It's going to be a free kick. I don't think there'll be anything else to play for in this game. We've played the 94th minute of it. The whistle will probably go any moment now. The attention and the focus will be on the international referee, Ashibir Boka. The Jima Jifar side has given their all in a big game with a team that just played their last game in the derby and won it, at this time round coming for a draw. Hanging on for dear life, the Jima Jifar side. And for Frank Natal, the coach of the St. George side, he'll probably have to, mount a little bit of a strategy that can be able to get the better of teams that are physical and also technical playing in the Ethiopian Premier League. Getane Kebede's goal in the 9th minute opened the scoring in this game and kept them leading right up to the time Temesgen Terese changed the course of it in the 46th minute with just 11 seconds on the clock for it. But the hanging header by Getane Kebede was undisputed, unchallenged, beating Abubakar Nouri in the 9th minute. For Temesgen Terese, it was just a question of speed and determination. He beats his own record of the quickest goal after resumption from 28 seconds. He slashes it to more than half, to probably 11 seconds. St. George 1, Jima 1 at full time.
ተመልካቾቻችን አንድ ለአንድ በሆነ ውጤት የጂማ አባጅፋርና የቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ጨዋታ ተጠናቋል። በጨዋታው እንግዲህ ሁለተኛው ግማሽ ላይ 20 ሰከንዶች ሳይቆጠሩ ተመስገን ደረሰ በእንቅስቃሴ ውስጥ እንግዲህ የተሻለ ውጤት ማምጣት የቻለበትን ጎል አስቆጥሯል። ጂማ አባጅፋር በዘንድሮ የውድድር ዓመት እንግዲህ ጉዞ የተስተካከለ ባይሆንም እንግዲህ የቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስን ግን ወሳኝ ነጥብ መውሰድ ችሏል። ከጨዋታው በኋላ ሁሌም እንደምናደርገው እንግዲህ የአሰልጣኞችን አስተያየት ወደ እናንተ የምናደርስ ይሆናል። የዚህ ጨዋታ ኮከብ ተጫዋች ተመስገን ደረሰ ነው። ከተመስገን ደረሰ ጋርም እንዲሁ ቆይታ የምናደርግ ነው የሚሆነው። ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ በደረጃ ሰንጠረዡ ሁለተኛ ደረጃ እንዲሁም ደግሞ በዋንጫ ፍክክር ውስጥ ለመቆየት አሊያም በአፍሪካ የክለቦች የኮንፌዴሬሽን ጨዋታ ለመዝለቅ የሚያደርገውን ውጤት እንግዲህ ይሄን ማሸነፍ ይጠበቅበት ነበረ። ኮች ቴንክ ዩ። ዲስአፖይንቲንግ ሪዛልት
We always, as I've said before, we're always trying to win games, but it's not the end of the world, and we knew it was going to be a very tough game. We knew that the other side are really fighting to try to stay in the league, so we expected that, and it's just the way it goes sometimes.
You were coming from the dressing room when you conceded the equalizing goal. Did you see it?
Yes, I've seen it. Yeah.
Is it lack of concentration?
Well, it's a good little set piece in terms of restart from Jima, to be honest.
Creating goal chance with a station ball in the second consecutive game in the derby and now in this game. Is that your attacking style in the Premier League?
To say again?
Creating goal chance with station balls.
Set piece?
Yeah, set piece.
No, not at all. I think we've shown that in the first game we created a lot of chances from open play.
Yeah.
16 chances from open play, I don't think there was any of them from a set piece, to be honest, maybe one. So we've created chances in open play, so not just in set piece. And we tried today in various different ways to try to create chances, but didn't come off.
Does it have an impact for the next games drawing this point?
Well, we're still in the mix. We're still in and around what we're trying to do, and we know what we're trying to achieve. So we're still very much in there. We've seen other team pick up points and drop points. So I'm sure that's there's a long way to go. With was it 6 games to go now? Is it?
So you are now still in the race.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. But there's others in the race as well.
Thank you, coach.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
እንግዲህ ፍራንክ ናታል ነበር ከጨዋታው በኋላ አስተያየታቸውን የሰጡት። ያው በዘንድሮ የውድድር ዓመት ቡድኑን ከያዙ በኋላ ይሄ ሶስተኛ ጨዋታቸው ነው። በነገራችን ላይ ከቆሙ 2 ኳሶች ነው ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ጎሎችን ማስቆጠር የቻለው። ይሄ የሳቸው የማጥቂያ መንገድ ነው ወይ የሚል ጥያቄ አቅርበላቸው ነበረ። ሌሎች የጨዋታ አማራጮችን ወይም ደግሞ የማጥቂያ መንገዶችን ይከተላሉ። ነገር ግን ጎሎቹ 2 ተከታታይ ጎሎች የተቆጠሩበትን መንገድ ግን በዛ በተለይም በሴት ፒስ እንደተገኙ አምነዋል። በደርቢው ጨዋታ ጋዲሳ መብራቴ ነበር ከማዕዘን ምት ኳሱን አሻግሮ ለአስቻለው ታመነ ጎሉን እንዲያስቆጥር የረዳው። ዛሬም እንደዚሁ አከናውኗል። ተመስገን ከልብ አመሰግናለሁ። በመጀመሪያ እንኳን ደስ አለ ጎል ስላስቆጠርክ። በዘንድሮ የውድድር ዓመት ጂማ አባጅፋር ጉዞ እንግዲህ በጣም ወጣ ገባ ነው ማለት እንችላለን። በስኬት መሄድባቸው ጊዜያቶች ነበሩ፣ እንዲሁም ደግሞ ከባድ ወቅቶችን ማሳልፋቸዋል። የዛሬው ጨዋታ ምን አይነት ትርጉም አለው ላንተ?
ያው ከጊዮርጊስ ጋር እንደመጫወታችን ጨዋታው በጣም ከባድ ነበር። እኛም ግምት ሰጥተን የገባ ነው ሜዳ። ያው እነሱ ተጭነው እንደሚጫወቱን እርግጠኛ ነበርን። እኛም እነሱን ለመጫን ዶሚኔት አድርገን ለመጫወት ነው በቃ ያለን አማራጭ ወይ ማሸነፍ ነው ወይ መሸነፍ ነው። አቻ መውጣት ምንም ጥቅም አልነበረውም ለኛ እና አቻ በመውጣታችን ደስተኛ ነን።
ፍጥነቱ ጎሎ የተቆጠረበት ፍጥነት በጣም የሚገርም ነው። 20 ሰከንዶች አልተቆጠሩ። አስባችሁበት ነበር ሂደቱን? ክፍተቱን ወይም ደግሞ አቋቋማቸውን አይታችሁት ነበር?
እኔ አላወራውም ማለት እኔ አላወራውም ከነሱ ጋር ግን እነሱ አውርተውታል መሰለኝ እና ከፕሪንስ ወደ ፕሪንስ ሲሄድ የግድ ቦክስ ውስጥ መገኘት ነበረብኝና ያው ክሮስ ሲደረግ ኮንትሮል ነው ያደረኩት ኳሱን። ከዛ ዝቅ ስላለ ፓወር ስላለው ነው የገባው።
በዘንድሮ የውድድር ዓመት ጂማ አባጅፋር ያለበት ቦታ በጣም አደገኛ የሚባለው ዞን ላይ ነው ያለው። እንተርፋለን ብላችሁ ታስባላችሁ?
ይከብዳል። እንተርፋለንም አንተርፍም ይከብዳል። ኳስ ነውና ምን እንደሚፈጠር አብረን እናያለን። እሱ ግን ያው እኛ የተሻለ ነገር እያደረግን ነው ለቲሙ። ያው የመጣንበት መንገድ ከባድ ነው። ለዛ እኛ እርግጠኛ ነኝ የሆነ ነገር ይኖራል ብዬ አስባለሁ መጨረሻ ላይ።
የአሰልጣኞች መለዋወጥ በቡድን ውስጥ የሚፈጥረው ተጽዕኖ አለና ያ ትንሽ ጫና ውስጥ ከታችሁ ነበረ?
አዎ ከባድ ነው ማለት ሁሉም የራሱን ፕሪንሲፕል ነው ይዞ የሚመጣው እና አሁን ያለው ጥሩ ይመስለኛል። ለኛ ጥሩ ነው ማለት የተሻለ ነገር እያሳየን ነው። ከአንደኛው ዙር የተሻለ ነን እና አሁን ላይ ጥሩ ነው ብዬ አስባለሁ።
ጎሏን ለማን ነው የምታበረክታት?
ለቤተሰቦቼ። አመሰግናለሁ።
እንግዲህ ተመስገን ደረሰ ነበር ከጨዋታው በኋላ አስተያየቱን የሰጠው። ጎሉን ለቤተሰቡ እንደሚያበረክት ገልጿል። እስኪ ቁጥሮችን እንመልከት። ወደ 15 የሚጠጉ የግብ ሙከራዎች የተደረጉበት ጨዋታ ነበረ። 3 ኢላማቸውን የጠበቁ ሙከራዎችን እንግዲህ በቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ በኩል በጂማ አባጅፋር በኩል እንዲሁ ተመሳሳይ፣ ነገር ግን ሁለቱም ዋይድ ሾቶች ወይም ደግሞ ከርቀት ሙከራዎችን ኢላማቸውን የጠበቁ ያልጠበቁ ሙከራዎችን አድርገዋል። 50 ከመቶ የኳስ ቁጥጥር ነበረ በሁለቱም በኩል። 55 ከመቶ የኳስ ቁጥጥር መሀል ክፍል ላይ ነበረ። 22 ከመቶ የኳስ ቁጥጥር በቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ሜዳ፣ 23 ከመቶ የኳስ ቁጥጥር በጂማ አባጅፋር ሜዳ ውስጥ ነበረ። ከአሰልጣኝ ጸጋዬ ኪዳነ ማርያም ጋር ነው ቆይታ የምናደርገው። ጨዋታውን ስንጀምር ጸጋዬ የተናገርከው ነገር ነበር። ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ በሊግ ውስጥ በጣም ልምድ ያለው ቡድን ነው ብለህ ነበርና ለአንተ የዛሬው ጨዋታ ፌር ሪዛልት ነው ማለት እንችላለን?
እንግዲህ ያው አሁንም ቢሆን ያው ትልቅነት ያው እንደተጠበቀ ነው። ውጤት ቀያሪ ተጫዋቾች አላቸው። በየፖዚሽኑ ማድረግ እንዳለባቸው የሚያውቁ ጠንቃቃ ኢትዮጵያ ብሔራዊ ተጫዋቾች ብዙ አሏቸውና ጥሩ ነው። አንዳንድ ጊዜ እግር ኳስ ሜዳ ላይ ስትገባ ደግሞ ቅድም ተናግሬያለሁ። ከ0 ደቂቃ ነው የምንጀምረው እስከ 9ኛው ደቂቃ በሜዳ ውስጥ የምናደርገው ታታሪነት እንቅስቃሴ ደግሞ የዕለቱ ውጤት ይጠብቃል። ምክንያቱም ዳኛው ሲያስጀምረው ከ0 ነው የሚያስጀምረው ነጥቡና ያኛ አስበንበት ነው የመጣ ነው። ዞሮ ዞሮ እኔ እንደ ቡድን እንደ ጂማ አባጅፋር ቡድኑ እየተሻሻለ ነው ወይ ለውጥ አለ ወይ በሚለው ነው የሚሄደው። አሁን ዛሬ አቻ ማውጣታችን እንደ ነጥብ 1 ነጥብ ሊሆን ይችላል። ከዚህ የበለጠ ግን የሚያስቆጩ ነጥቦች ጥለናል። እኛ የሜዳ ላይ እንቅስቃሴ ጥሩ ባይሆንም በውጤት ደረጃ አስጠብቀን የምንወጣባቸውን የልምድ አጨዋወታቸው በማጣታችን ብቻ ውጤት ያጣናቸው ብዙ ነጥቦች አሉና ያስቆጫሉ። ዞሮ ዞሮ አሁንም ቢሆን የቀረን ጨዋታዎች አሉ። እኔ ሁልጊዜ እንደምናገረው ሪዛልቱ ምንም ይሁን ምንም በቡድን ላይ ለውጥ ማምጣታችን መሻሻላችን ነው እያዩ ያሉት። ትልቁ ነገር ተጫዋቾችን ማመስገን የምችለው በስልጠና የማይለወጥ ወይም የማይሻሻል ከፍተኛ ፍላጎት ተጫዋቾች አላቸውና እኔ በተጫዋቾች በጣም ሁሌ እንደኮራ ነው ያደርጉት ያለ የሜዳ ላይ ታታሪነት በጣም ያስደስተኛልና እንደነበረው እንቅስቃሴ ሁለታችን ንጹህ ጎሎች አግኝተናል። ግን ፌር ነው ብዬ አስባለሁ።
ጎሉ ሲቆጠር የነበረው ፍጥነት በፕሪሚየር ሊጉ በጣም ፈጣኑ የሁለተኛ ግማሽ ጎል ሆኗል። 20 ሰከንዶች እንኳን አልተቆጠረም ነበርና መልበሻ ክፍል ውስጥ ምን ነበር ያወራችሁት?
እንግዲህ ተመሳሳይ ነው። ባለፈው ጨዋታም እንደዚሁ ከአዋሳ ጋር ስንጫወት በተመሳሳይ ደቂቃና በተመሳሳይ ሰከንድ ነው ያገባ ነው። እንግዲህ መጀመሪያ የሁለተኛ 45 ደቂቃ እንግዲህ ብዙ ክለቦች ያው የመጀመሪያ 15 ደቂቃ እንጠንቀቅ ነው የሚባለው። እኛ ደግሞ የሆነ የራሳችን ስትራቴጂ አለን። ምክንያቱም ሰከንድ አፍ እንደገባን አየው ውጤት ሁሉ ጊዜ ተጋጣሚ ቡድን ሲሪየስ የማይሆንባቸው ሁኔታዎች አሉ። ትኩረት የሚያጣበት ሰዓት ስለሆነ ያቺ ነገር ለመጠቀም እንፈልጋለን ብዙ ጊዜ። ስለዚህ ያን ተሳክቶልናል። ዞሮ ግን ያው ብዙ መሻሻል ያሉብን ነገሮች ብዙ ድክመቶች አሉን። ግን ያው ከድክመቶቻችን እያረምን አሁንም ቢሆን ቀሪ ጨዋታዎች አትሊስት ቢያንስ የሜዳ ላይ እንቅስቃሴያችን ቅርጾ የጠበቀ ቲም እንዲኖር እንፈልጋለሁ። በመሻሻል ላይና በጥረት ላይ ነው እናተኩረው።
አመሰግናለሁ።
እኔም አመሰግናለሁ።
እንግዲህ ቀደም ሲል አሰልጣኝ ጸጋይ ኪዳነ ማርያም ከጨዋታው በኋላ የሰጠውን አስተያየት ነው የሰማችሁት። በቡድኑ ውስጥ ያለው መሻሻል ትልቁ ነገር እንደሚሆን አሰልጣኙ አስምሮበታል። 1 ነጥብ ወይም ደግሞ 3 ነጥብ ማግኘት ሳይሆን በሂደት ውስጥ የሚለወጥ የሚያድግ ቡድኑን ሊገልጽ የሚችል እሱ ሊሰራ ያሰበውን አጠቃላይ እንቅስቃሴ የሚያሳድግና እንዲሁም ለውጥ የሚያመጣ ሀሳብ እንደሚፈልግ ገልጿል። በዛሬው ጨዋታ የነበረው አጠቃላይ የሜዳ ውስጥ እንቅስቃሴ ግን በሁለቱ ቡድኖች በኩል የሚፈለገውን ነገር ለማግኘት የሄዱበትን ርቀት በደንብ የሚያሳይ ነው። ቁጥሮችን እንመልከት እስኪ ዮናስ። በአታክ አናሊሲስ ውስጥ የነበረው የመሃል ክፍሉ ሁለተኛው ግማሽ ላይ በደንብ ሊጠቀም